frightening.
Yeah.
Terribly
Good.
frightening.
You're on.
Stop fiddling.
But Dad.
Shut up. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Just ahead, Car Talk. Mike Mars reviews our new vehicle of the week, the 2022 Ford Mach-E. Plus, we'll have the upcoming events calendar, and later, Mr. EV, Buzz Smith, joins us.
All
Plus,
right.
we'll have this week's Auto News headlines, all just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zeke, and I'm Don Armstrong. Out today is King Conrad DeLong. He will be back next week, we hope. He's still partying in Austin.
Something about a warrant and
I don't quite understand all of that, but at any rate, it's good for you to be with us this morning. Thank you for allowing us into whatever device that you're allowing us into.
we have a lot of them.
We have a
do.
lot of devices.
We do.
Or is that vices? I think that's what it is.
Both.
Uh-huh.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Mr. Mars, how are things over in Neaterville?
Pretty good.
Well,
Sun's shining, the wind's blowing.
And no chemical plant is blown up down the street from you?
Not the last 24 hours.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Nice.
Jeffrey,
Plus
how
the wind's blowing.
have you been,
Wonderful, just wonderful,
sir?
wonderful.
Good. And Jeff's going to have a little tire segment later on in today's 3-hour program. We invite you to stay tuned for that. It's always interesting and fun.
We're taking them off the Corvette.
Yeah. No, we're not. Not after that kind of money that I spent on those
There
tires.
you go.
Anyway, so today we have joining us a great guy from Consumer Reports. His name is Mike Quincy. Mike, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Thank you. So Mike is going to talk to us today about how to make your car last 200,000 miles and more. And Mike, I focus in on this because obviously with almost all of America buying used cars these days, there are some that have, 35, 55, 75,000 miles on them. But then there are those that don't, that are over the top on what we would used to consider max mileage. Oh, you got to have the engine rebuilt, the car scrapped, all that. Not so much anymore, is it, Mike?
So the sweet spot is more miles then.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Are you waiting for me to jump in here?
Yes. Please go ahead.
I remember when there was a time when a car got to be 50, 60, 70,000 miles, and that was it. I mean, the death knell of a car was when it got close to 100,000 miles. Now, my parents were like, oh my gosh, the car's going to fall apart anytime soon. But these days, cars are made so well that it is not unusual or impossible to get 200,000 miles out of a car. And you mentioned the car market right now. The new car market is insane with crazy prices, and that has trickled down to the used car market as well. It's not easy to find a used car because everything is more expensive. So some of the advice that we have here at Consumer Reports is to keep your old car running as long as you can.
And, really, if you follow the directions that nobody ever reads that comes in the glove box and a thing called an owner's manual, it pretty much steps you through all of the things that you need to do when it comes to maintenance on the vehicle. And for that, if you follow those rules and regulations, barring any unforeseen accidents and things like that, you should be able to make that car last 100, 200, 300,000 miles. I remember a story not that long ago. Fellow that owns a Volvo, and he's owned it since it was brand new, and it's got like 2 million miles on it. Well, he didn't get to 2 million miles by not doing anything but, changing tires or something. I mean, he invested money into it. And, we talk about investments. You spend, let's just say that you bought a new car today. Average price of them now, $40,000, okay? And so you could skate for a while by doing things like changing the oil, the tires, the wipers, the regular stuff that you need to do with a car. But if you really want to stretch its legs and run it out there to 100, 200, 300,000 miles, it's very important that you do keep up with those items that they mention in the owner's manual.
Right. And I think a lot of people get tripped up because if they go back to their dealer, say you buy a new car and they say, we'll give you 20 free oil changes. Well, that gets you back in the dealer. And usually when you drop your car off, there's the whole maintenance department, and they have all these suggested maintenance items that you should look into. And that's where it gets a little tricky, because as you said, the owner's manual is really the Bible for keeping track of your car. And it doesn't necessarily sink in with what the dealer is telling you. So, our advice is generally, you could probably ignore what the dealer suggests you should do and just stick with your owner's manual.
Well, I have to tell you, I have a 21-year-old Corvette. It currently has 25,000 miles on it. So mileage certainly isn't the issue with the car. The timing out of certain things that you needed to do to the car. For instance, I had a major service this past January of all of the fluids. Cost me $1,000. And I'm talking about, not only the oil change, but the coolant change, the transmission oil change, the power steering, the brake flush, all of those things. But that hasn't been done since it was new. So all of that stuff needed to be done. I spent the money, and hopefully that car won't need it for another 20 years.
Well, right. I mean, but if you amortize that $1,000 bill over that 20-year period, year in and year out, annually, that's really not that much money. But you make a really good point. I mean, cars are in better shape when they're driven, and when they're not driven, that's actually when you can get some maintenance problems, because hoses get dry and crinkled, your tires can get dry rot, all that stuff. So the best thing you do is drive your car and kind of pay attention to what's going on, because even a new car can have some weird squeak or rattle, or something is not quite right. And the general advice here is, even a small problem can become a big problem and a more expensive problem if you don't nip it in the bud immediately.
Well, one of the things that you guys bring up in this article about how to make your car last more than 200,000 miles are some of the cars. Basically, it's a brand reliability score that you guys have come up. Let's go over that if we can.
Well, sure. I mean, Consumer Reports puts out a number of surveys every year, and the autos surveys are focusing on owner satisfaction, reliability, things like that. That really makes up the gist of our overall ratings. But we take the data, because I work with very smart statisticians, and they're able to crunch the numbers and come up with kind of a brand loyalty or brand report card, which shows that a number of manufacturers, mostly Japanese manufacturers, are building cars that a lot of owners like especially well. And the funny thing is, a lot of those brand report cards, those companies that score highly, are also among the most reliable models. So as we're talking about, making your car last a long time, diving into the used car market, you have models like the Lexus CT200, the Toyota Prius C, the Acura TSX, the Honda Civic, the Nissan Altima, as among the more reliable used cars. And so it's interesting to see that sometimes those sync up, the models and the manufacturers.
Well, and to finish that list, one of the things that I thought was amazing is the Mazda MX-5 Miata, the little sports car. Who would have thunk? Of course, the Volvo, that doesn't surprise me. Subaru Legacy, that doesn't surprise me. But the GMC Canyon made it to the list.
Wow,
that surprised me.
Yeah, me too. I got to admit, I had to do kind of a double check on that one.
Well, I will say that the list also that you came up with, as far as things that you need to do to the car. First 36,000 miles, not a big deal. Oil change, tire rotation, wiper blades. Okay, we got that. $180 and you got that in the bucket. But, once you start getting to the 60,000 mile range, you're talking about most definitely tires. That should have probably happened somewhere between 36 and 60,000 miles. Let's talk about front struts. Nobody even knows. Well, no, nobody. We do. Most people don't really know what front struts do. Kind of like shock absorbers with a spring, $979 just for the front. And those are real wearable items, but it takes a while to get there. But, I guess the bottom line is, one of the things that I've always said to folks is, look, you're going to have to pay one way or the other. You're going to have to pay the bank or the loan company that you got your car from. But generally speaking, if you maintain the car and you amortize it over a year's period of time, that payment that you come up with, whether it be $2,000 or so for maintenance on big items like the front struts, rear struts, control arms, that sort of thing, it's a whole lot cheaper than buying a new car.
Absolutely. And as you amp up the miles, and we'll probably get to that, there's this little thing called a timing belt that a lot of cars have.
Yes.
And this really goes out to kind of the younger buyers that just, they're so excited to have their first car and they don't realize what comes into play. And if they someone says, hey, have you done the timing belt yet? And they say, oh, that's fine. I don't have to worry about that. So yeah, a timing belt can be a pricey repair, but it's a lot less money than getting your engine rebuilt.
Now, you talked about penciling out the dollars, Don. How does or will something like an extended warranty come into play for the 100,000 mile? And there's vehicles out there that do have bumper to bumper in some respects of 100,000 miles. Hyundai comes to mind. So is an extended warranty conducive for this to make it last past that? Your opinion?
Generally speaking, and Consumer Reports did a survey about this a number of years ago. I believe the number is like 60 to 70% of people that bought the extended warranty never saw a dime. So they didn't actually reap any of the benefits that they paid for. The better advice, instead of the extended warranty, is use the data that in Consumer Reports reliability information to buy a more reliable car to begin with. And listen, no one knows more about their cars than the auto companies. So extended warranty is all about data and statistics. That the car companies generally know what components may or may not break, may or may not last a long time. And you have to read the fine print in any of these extended warranties to see exactly what is and isn't covered. I mean, if you buy a car that's kind of on the fringe of in terms of reliability, and something breaks after the regular warranty is over and you bought the extended warranty, good for you. Statistically speaking, we're not seeing that happens very often. So my advice would be, instead of buying an extended warranty, buy a more reliable car.
That's great advice, and I would agree with that. I mean, spend a few extra dollars instead of buying the extended warranty. There's so many warranty companies now that are advertising all over the place, spending millions of dollars in advertising about buying their warranty program.
It's a product.
But that's a really good point, because there are kind of these mom and pop shops or these fly by night organizations. An extended warranty usually isn't worth a grain of salt unless it's backed by the factory. In other words, if Toyota or Jaguar or Audi you're going to buy an extended warranty from them, that's one thing. Then you have recourse. But a third market warranty program, I would be very wary of that.
Yeah, and those are the ones that are spending all the big bucks right now, and they are very well aware of the fact that the used car market is on fire, although we are seeing some data right now that says that it may have reached its peak. But a lot of people are buying used cars. Here in Texas, we have a thing called paper plates. And, if you buy a used car, chances are pretty good that you're going to get a paper plate on the back of it. And you see them all over the place here. And you're going, you actually bought that car?
Oh,
you
yeah.
You spent money on that pile? Okay, fine. Good luck to you. Let me know in a year how that worked out.
I'll watch for you on the side of the road
30
so I can give
days.
you a ride.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, I will say that I did buy an extended warranty one time, and we were living in San Antonio, and we were coming back and forth to Beaumont at least twice a month. And so I bought a Honda Accord because I knew that we were going to put close to 20,000 miles a year on it. And I bought the extended warranty because I didn't want to have any trouble, because it was mainly my wife driving and back and forth. And like you said, though, I never used it.
Yeah.
I put 200,000 miles on that car, never used the extended warranty.
I will say this, that there is some sort of peace of mind, if you want to call it that.
I was getting to that, yeah.
To buying something like that. It's like buying life insurance, kind of, in the back of your mind. But I think that's one of those things that you really need to be cautious about, how much money you spend on an extended warranty. And, do you really need that much?
Well, right. And to your point, what if you put that money that you're going to put into an extended warranty into future repairs?
Exactly. So if you're spending $200 a month on a warranty, all right, take that money a year's period of time. I think we can do the math. Well, there you go. There's a major fluid change
Right.
for your car
Right.
that it may need when the day that you buy it.
Well, it's not on wearable parts. And to Don's point, yes, it is peace of mind because the Cadillacs that I've purchased, I've always purchased an extended warranty on it and not necessarily have used them aggressively or to their full, but it's in your back pocket, and that's what I like.
Don't you agree, Mike, that there's some value in that?
It depends. It depends on your car. Now you mentioned Cadillacs. One of the saddest stories that I can think of recently is that Cadillac builds a couple of really nice sedans, the CT4 and the CT5. I love driving them. Hardly anyone buys them, which is really depressing because they're really good because everyone wants an SUV. But if I were in a market to buy a CT5, Cadillac might be one of the manufacturers that I would consider getting an extended warranty. Let's say you grew up and your whole life you always wanted a Jaguar. You always wanted an Alfa Romeo. And listen, I'm a car guy. Car love is completely irrational. I get it. I totally get it.
I like that.
So if I'm finally going to get that Alfa Romeo Giulia that sings to my heartstrings, yes, I would buy the extended warranty. However, knowing what I know, the place where I work, I probably wouldn't buy one. So there you go.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for that because let's face it, many of the things that impel you to go and buy a car, you go, I really like the way it looks. I like the motor. I like everything about it. But I'm a Chevy guy, so I'm going to go and buy the Chevy instead, which might not really be the way to go. You know,
he's throwing his hands up.
No, that's a great story because my neighbor right down there. I mean, I'm in my house right now, broadcasting from my dining room. My neighbor down the road was there. They were a GM family, and this was many years ago when Chevrolet had those SUVs with the inline 6-cylinder engine. The name of the SUV is escaping my. It's not the Trailblazer. That's it. Okay. She said, "Well, I got to get a new car. What do you think of the Trailblazer?" And I gave her my advice. I said, listen, it didn't do well in Consumer Reports test. It has a terrible record for reliability, and it failed a government crash test. I mean, you have to work hard to screw up a government crash test. Everything has a 5-star rating from NHTSA. Now, you know, the Insurance Institute is a different deal. But GM couldn't even get that crash test right. So I said, I don't think the Trailblazer is a good idea. And she looked at me and said, well, what do you think of the Trailblazer? And she went out and she bought it.
Yep.
And in 6 months, she said, oh, my God, that was the worst decision I ever made. I was like, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him think.
Yeah, exactly. So where can we find more information about this report that you guys have come up with?
Check out consumerreports.org, how to get your car to 200,000 miles. My compatriot Benjamin Preston wrote this great story. He's on vacation right now, which is why you got to see this beautiful face instead of Ben. But he's super smart, and he's working with me and my brilliant colleagues at Consumer Reports. There's lots of great information, especially for used cars at consumerreports.org. Also, check out our tire information. That's like the most underutilized aspect of our testing. Nobody tests tires like we do.
Absolutely.
Well, I will tell you, it is great to talk to you, Mike Quincy. We love Consumer Reports and love talking to you guys, and you do great work up there. Keep up the good work. And, hey, next time that you've got something on your plate, you be sure and call us and let us get you on the air.
We love it. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Love that stuff.
I know.
It's always good to talk about stuff.
And everyone from that organization is spot on with their information. They just drill it into your head.
Because they got a bunch of geek nerds like my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
That all she does is numbers.
Yeah.
And there's a method behind their madness, and it actually works.
Plus, it didn't. Yeah. I recall. How many miles from the test track is he?
What do you say?
Not very far.
I don't know,
About 15 minutes?
15 minutes away
Come
from
on,
the
we're
test track.
10
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
from highway, whatever.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. It's time now for the events calendar. Who would happen to have
I
that?
happen to have that.
I have to ask the dais
I
here,
know the
because
dais.
with
Yeah.
Conrad not
Well,
here
I got
today.
it last nightus.
Yeah, the day. Okay,
For the
very
dais.
good. Good.
No, it's I've got events calendar and an HRA, all that good stuff. So the events calendar, today's Saturday, Nifty 50s, Grogan's Mill, The Woodlands, and we all know who that is.
That'll be tonight.
Yes.
And now that's a car show that your car has to be, I don't know, 30 years old or something to
There are
be in it.
requirements. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but,
specifications.
but for those of you that really want to go see a really classic car cruise in, this would be the one to do it.
Yep. And then the Kima Car Meet, 6 to 9. That is today. Friday through Sunday, April 22nd at 4 p.m. April 24th at noon. The
Is it the 22nd or the 24th or what is it?
22nd and the 24th is going to be the 2022 Mustang Anniversary Weekend by
Well,
HSO.
that would be the 22nd through the 24th.
22nd to the 24th, which is in a couple weeks.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't I say that, Mike?
No,
I thought you
Okay.
said.
you said the 22nd and the 24th.
And then there's a 23 in there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You
It's
just
in
got to
Houston, Texas.
translate it.
See, Conrad does this. I love you, Conrad. The event is hosted by the Houston Shelby owners of Houston, so that's good. Saturday, April 23rd of this year at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I say this year because he wrote it down. The Bill Iris Benefit Car Show. That's at 9055 Airport Road in Conroe.
So, in other words, it's going to compete against the NHRA.
Yes. Well, just that one day. And this from 11 to 5. And then Sunday the 24th, this is competing against the finals. At 8 a.m., the 28th Annual Car Show. Registration is open now. Tomball High School. So if you've been to Tomball High School and you maybe have to put a book report in.
I barely
you could do-
graduated from high school. I don't know.
Well, it's there, and it's in Tomball.
Maybe I should go inside and maybe try to learn some more.
You could just get kicked out again.
Yeah, again.
Again. All right, time now for
I
this
see you
hour's car.
coming.
The time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had a chance to drive the Ford Mach-E. That's the all-electric SUV.
Yes.
What do you think?
I was really looking forward to it because I hadn't driven one. You know, we saw the picture, we see them at the Houston Auto Show and stuff. I was really looking forward to driving this, and it's the 2021. And
See, when you start a car review like that, you were really looking forward to it, but apparently it wasn't all that at the end.
well, we have to wait till the end to see.
All right.
I read the book.
Yeah, he read the book, but I'm going to watch the movie. So it's the 2021 GT all-wheel drive version. So there's actually 5 trim levels available in this thing, starting with the Select, Premium, and they got some cool names here. There's a California Route 1, and then there's the First Edition, then there's the GT. And again, like I said, we had the GT all-wheel drive. And this is kind of, the EPA's got it classed as a small station wagon when they go to figure the mileage, but to me it's kind of like got a hatchback. I don't know exactly where you would put it.
Station wagon.
Well, that's in the category for the EPA for the mileage categories where they got it.
Oh, they need to go back and look.
And I think it's more of a hatchback. But anyway, this is the first year of it. So it's pretty unique in a lot of things it's got, because it's a lot of the styling tips that it's got off of it really are from the Mustang. When the first time we saw it, we went, oh, it doesn't even look like a Mustang. But now, having to have it a week and looking at it and looking at some pictures and different things, the tail lights, some of the sidelines, and the hood, the way the hood comes down in the front, I didn't realize it until I was looking at some pictures that I'd taken from a long distance away. But the new Mustang GTs, not the Mach-E's, they've got a real sloping hood that I don't particularly care for because it brings the grill opening down real small. Well, this one, if you back off from it and look at it, it's got those same kind of lines. So there really is a lot of Mustang
You have to be
styling tips to it.
looking for that.
I agree.
Because it doesn't
again,
look anything like a Mustang.
But there are some of the styling tips are there. I'm just telling you. So you're going to find in this vehicle up front, you're going to find LED headlights. You're going to find wiper activated LED headlights. So if the wipers come on, the headlights come on, and they're rain sensing wipers. So if it rains, it kicks off the windshield wipers, which kicks off the LED headlights, which I thought that was kind of cool. So it's got the active shutters up front where the grill used to be, and it actually has a trunk up front, a frunk. and you open it up, and there's this just open space in there, and it's got a emergency passenger escape hatch. So I guess you put bodies in there. But the good thing is it's got a drain plug on it. So if you leave the body in there too long, and you can wash it out. So on the back of it, it's got a rear spoiler, sequential LED headlights off the Mustang. Very good. We had the optional at this level, the panoramic fixed glass roof. Kind of like a panoramic.
That's great in Houston, Texas, when 100-degree temperatures.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It was okay while I had it, but what's it going to be like in August? Because there's no cover. There's nothing to cover it up. It's what it is. It's what it is. And we were rolling on the 20-inch optional wheels. You get into the inside of it. We had some ambient interior lighting, which includes the illuminated entryways. We had the Ford Performance seats. They were heated in the front, and I had the split folding rear seat to kind of give you a little more cargo room. It's got a really nice 10.2-inch digital driver screen where you're going to see all the gauges and everything works. And there's a big, you can't miss it, 15.5-inch center screen. And it'll split up into multiple screens so it can do multiple functions, or you can have it in this one big window if you want. And it's got a rotary shift on it, like some of the other vehicles have gone. And I thought that was pretty cool because it doesn't take up much room, and just sits kind of down there, and that was cool. Now, because we had the GT, we had the optional extended range battery. Now, this is 88 kilowatts, and we had the optional motor on it because the GT, the performance, 480 horsepower equivalent, 634 pound-feet of torque. Now, this has got a single-speed transmission is how Ford lists the transmission on it. The EPA, again, has it in the small wagon category. The city should be about 90. Highway 77 combined should be 84. Now, that works out to 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour in this vehicle. I couldn't figure out how to convert what I got into miles per gallon, but over 324.1, I got 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. So I'm guessing that over the combined, it was better than 84. And I will have to tell you this. It's got some very smooth power bands from start to finish, from the time you roll off the line till you decide to stop. But it will put you back in the seats. I mean, it's got some juice to it.
Torque.
It's very performance-oriented. It's got a tuned suspension for it. And so when you're out on the road, you know you're driving in something that's kind of oriented towards a little more performance. And when you step off on the accelerator, it is there. So we're looking at the base trim price on a GT all-wheel drive is $59,900. Now, the price as tested is $64,200. But you can get a base model of one of these in the $46,000 range.
If you can find one.
If you can find one. And if you're looking for something to compare it to, a Tesla Model Y starts at $39,000, but to get to the performance model that kind of equates is $63,990. Volvo XC40 Recharge is up around $53,990. And a lot of them, like the Audi e-tron and some of the Porsche models, they're up in the 100.
Wow.
Way on up there. So I liked this vehicle. Driving it, I really liked it. Now, I had some issues charging, and that's one of the things we're going to talk with Buzz in the next segment.
Well,
but
I was going to ask you, the 64, does that include the home charger? Or
not from Ford.
Okay.
Okay, the In-Wheel Time Car Show is now part of the iHeart family and available 24/7 at iHeart.com and through the iHeart app. Just look for the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We stream also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Heck, we're everywhere. In-Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Tony Stewart Racing joins the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his drivers, Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagan, will face off against NHRA stars including the legendary John Force Racing Team. Don't miss this battle of horsepower and performance. It's the final NHRA Spring Nationals event at Houston Raceway Park. Don't miss it, April 22nd through 24th. This is your last chance for nitro action in Baytown. Tickets at HoustonRaceway.com.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Yes. Howdy, and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Coming up, Buzz Smith on EVs. Plus, we have the events calendar and the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Conrad's out today. Glad that you could join us, however. It's a beautiful day in Houston, Texas.
The neighborhood.
Is he ready?
He looks ready.
Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Buzz Smith.
Still on his spaceship.
Are you in your spaceship, sir, this morning?
Yes, sir.
Well,
fully electric.
Yeah. Well, you're only missing the George Jetson helmet. That's all.
Actually, the low noise or the low speed noise generators that the EVs require, I was really hoping that the manufacturers make that like a ringtone. It's interesting you mentioned the Jetsons because I wanted mine to go as I was driving down the road.
As a matter of fact, I have a friend of mine that owns a Tesla, and you can download that noise for that car and play it. So just saying, there's something for you to look forward to.
Were you demoted? Because last time you had Star Trek gear on.
Yeah, I'm now back in time. It's 2001.
Okay.
Very good.
Here you go, Hal.
Buzz, how have you been? What's going on in your life?
Oh, man, it's been so great this last month and a half. It was great to see you guys at the Houston Auto Show. Shortly after that, I went up to South by Southwest, and for the first time in real life, I got to see the Volkswagen ID Buzz. I really want that to be my next EV, but it won't hit the United States for 2 more years. So I think I'll just be happy that they named the vehicle after me and move on from there. But I got to have something before 2024.
Well,
the North Texas Auto Show was the first time in Texas that you could actually ride in an EV indoors. They had a great track set up for it. And they had, since they were doing it indoors and there were some liability issues, you couldn't drive the car, but they had people who would punch it on the back row there. And like Mike was saying earlier, it would throw you back in the seat. So during that time, I got to ride in an EV6, a Mustang Mach-E, and the big news, the F-150 Lightning. So that was the first time I'd ridden in any of those 3 vehicles. And the Mustang Mach-E and the EV6 are actually on my short list for my next vehicle. Also at that show, they had the unveiling for the first time of the Chevrolet Silverado EV. You couldn't ride in one. And there's only one in existence right now. So it was up on a stage and had the velvet ropes around it. So couldn't get in it, couldn't crawl around on it, but very impressive looking truck there. Shortly after that, a buddy of mine that actually worked the Houston Auto Show's display with me, EV display, called me up and asked me if I wanted to go on a secret mission with him up here in Dallas one morning. And so I met him and he was picking up his Rivian. And so I got to drive the Rivian R1T pickup, and it was really cool as well. And I don't know if you saw the news, but Jeep has unveiled their fully electric, I I can't remember what they're calling the model, but it's, the off-road 4-wheel drive Jeep.
4xe, the right?
Yeah,
Yes,
4xe.
Yeah, and that thing's going to go 0 to 60 and Tesla Model S plaid speed. So I think we're talking around 2.8 seconds to go 0 to 60. It's going to have over 800 pound-feet of torque. So that thing's going to be incredible. And then one last thing, when you guys were talking about the prices of the various EVs, always remember that there's a $7,500 federal income tax credit, and in the state of Texas, there's a $2,500 rebate. So there's $10,000 in government money when you pick up a new EV in the state of Texas.
I'm surprised that you're actually up there in the Dallas area talking to us today. I figured you'd still be lingering around Austin because a couple of days ago was the big opening down there at the Tesla factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really wanted to go down there, but there is some stuff going on up here that I've got to get prepared for, so I didn't make the trip this time.
Well, speaking of which, I've got a story here from Automotive News. I want to read portions of it to you because I want to talk about charging. The Biden administration said senior officials held a meeting Wednesday with major automotive leaders, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk and GM CEO Mary Barra, to discuss electric vehicles and charging. The administration said in a statement there was a broad consensus that charging stations and vehicles need to be interoperable and provide a seamless user experience no matter what car you drive and where you charge your EV. And to kind of expand on that, there are two different charger plugs, if you will, one for Tesla and one for everybody else. And I think that that's what they're talking about there. They want to kind of make them all a standard plug. Am I correct?
Except for one thing, there are 3 different plug types right now. The Asian market, primarily the Nissan Leaf, uses what's called a CHAdeMO connector, and I believe in Europe that's already being phased out. So we're looking at VHS and beta or DVD and Blu-ray all over again. And Tesla is opening up their chargers, or they've announced that they're going to open up their DC fast chargers to non-Tesla vehicles, which will require an adapter, but those are out there on the market. But even today, there are adapters so that you can plug into just about any charger out there. And in the case of Tesla, a woman pulled up to the dealership I used to work at, wanted to use our charger, which was not a Tesla charger. And she showed me that hidden in the tail light was an adapter to connect a J1772 plug to a Tesla plug. So that was pretty cool that Tesla already has that built in. But I do think, we're going to see the end of these different plug types. And it's my hope that before long, we see the end of plugs entirely. At the Houston Auto Show, there was an inductive charger. So you just, pull up to it and it sits underneath your car. And just like your smartphone nowadays, where you don't have to plug them in, you just set the phone down and it starts charging on this surface. EVs will have that. Now, existing EVs would have to have a modification put onto the underside of the car to do it. But I'm expecting in the future, because there is damage happening to these charge cords out there. People aren't, putting them back on the charger. They're just leaving them laying on the ground, and another car might run over it or something. So I think in the long run, at least away from your home residence, we've got to get away from plugs. It's just a dumb thing to do. It just makes sense to pull up on top of a surface and your car magically starts charging.
Well, I want to finish this story. So Elon Musk has often been at odds with the White House, frequently firing off harsh tweets directed at President Joe Biden. In February, Biden publicly acknowledged the role of Tesla in U.S. electric vehicle manufacturing after Musk repeatedly complained about being ignored. Congress last year approved $7.5 billion in government funding for EV charging stations, but legislation is stalled for new tax incentives to purchase and build EVs. Ford Motor Company CEO Jim Farley, Chrysler parent Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson, and Nissan America's chair Jeremy Papin were among other leaders who took part in Wednesday's meeting, which discussed U.S. funding to create a national network of 500,000 chargers. So my question to you is, why are we relying on your money, my money, Mike and Jeff's money? Because we never funded gas stations across the United States. We let private industry do that. Why isn't private industry stepping up and doing these charging stations?
If I had to take a guess, I would say it's because the American public is so uneducated that it's just not going to happen that way. What we can't see, or we actually should wait, just like we did with cell phone towers. I mean, there used to be a period when I drove from Dallas to Fort Worth that for 3.5 hours, I couldn't make a phone call.
Yes, I remember those days.
Yeah, and I had a big bag phone. You know, I'm an early adopter of technology, obviously. So I had a big bag phone, and it was no big deal. It's a completely different thing when you're driving a car and you can't make it to Houston. Now, you can easily make it to Houston. Don't misinterpret me here. There's plenty of chargers to do that drive. But it's chicken and egg. Do we build all these chargers when we only have about 2.5% of the cars in the U.S. electric? And
Exactly.
Most of those people, the vast majority, are just going to charge at home. In 10 years of driving electrically, I plugged into public chargers maybe 10 times. So the fact of the matter is, this is not like gas stations. You are not going to charge on the road unless you live in an apartment and can't plug in at home. And more than likely, you'll plug in at work or at a restaurant or at a movie theater or a lot that's specifically for that sort of thing. So the problem is, the mindset is, this is exactly like filling up a car with gasoline. No, it's not. The profit margin in that electricity is much, much smaller. So I don't think we're going to see that build out and accelerate with private funds until we see people understanding how EVs really work. Now, you mentioned the Biden infrastructure bill that did pass, the first one, that had $500 million, I think it was, dollars for EV charging infrastructure. And that's going to put 500,000, I think it may have been 5 billion actually, but it's going to be 500,000 new chargers on the major interstates of the country, because that's where you really need DC fast charging.
Yep.
For inner city long distance driving.
Yep.
So Buzz, let me, not to get too far sidetracked, I think it's got to be consumer driven other than what's driving it now. But as far as those chargers that they're putting in, going back to the experience I had with the Mach-E, I drove it over here to Houston from where I was. It's 112 miles. It's at 175, 178 miles range. Well, I burned up almost all of that getting here. But when I got ready to leave, I went into the computer and it told me, here's where the chargers are. I picked the close one. I went over there to charge it.
Whole Foods.
Uh-huh. Plugged it in, charged it for an hour. It timed out. Okay. But it didn't, I only was at 45%. It did not give me 80%, it did not give me enough miles to get home. So instead of sitting there and having to go through the rigmarole with a credit card and all that stuff again, I started looking and I found another charger, and I realized it was a bigger charger. The one I was at was a 50 kilowatt. I think that's how it's rated. Then over here at the Walmart down the road about 2 miles, there's one that's 150. So I went down there, and in 30 minutes, I got as much as I got in an hour at the other one. But I did not know there was a difference in the chargers.
How do you know,
it.
Buzz, when you pull up to it, whether the thing is going to take an hour for 40% or 30 minutes for an entire full tank?
Well, part of it will be based on the car. The Chevy Bolt EV, for instance, has a max charging speed of 50 kilowatts. So for each hour you're plugged in, you're going to get about, I think it's 100 miles of range. But the other side of it is, yes, there are chargers that can go up to 350 kilowatts. And up until now, it's been the very, very, very most expensive EVs that could take that fast to charge. Now, when you plug into a charger, the car and the charger talk to each other. So there's never a fear that it's going to charge your car too fast and burn up your battery or anything like that. The car tells the charger how fast it can take it. So what I'm getting at is, you can take a 50 kilowatt car like the Chevy Bolt EV, plug it into a 350 kilowatt charger, and it's still going to work. It's just going to be slower because the Bolt EV charges slower. Now, to answer your question, there's an app for that, as Steve Jobs would say. Things like PlugShare, a better route planner. There are tons of apps out there, and they tell you specifically what the speed the chargers are, and you can even filter it by that speed. So if you've got one of these cars that can take 350 kilowatts, you can say, okay, I just want to search for DC fast chargers that can give me 300 kilowatts or more of charging speed. It'll show you on the map where they are. You tap on one, get driving directions to it. So welcome to the EV world. There's things to learn as a newbie, and one of them is, how do you find the best charger for you to use? And in a pinch, where can I find any charger I need? there are apps that handle that. No
Well, I
problem.
think that you'll agree that the bottom line is that all of this is new to most everybody, certainly including me. And I think that over time, that all of these, what I'll call hiccups with things like Mike dealt with last weekend, that those will resolve themselves over time and fairly quickly, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. It's just going to be like the cell phone market. I mean, there's almost nowhere you can go other than national parks now where you don't have cell phone coverage, or maybe way out in the West U.S. and some
East
fairly
Texas.
deserted areas. The same thing will happen with chargers.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I mean, I agree with that, because obviously 2 days into driving this vehicle, and I didn't understand and drill down in far enough in the app, but once I kind of figured that out, the next time I needed to charge it, I could drill down into it, say, okay, I want that 150 kilowatt charger. Where can I find one? Well, it's 14 miles away. And so, okay, so I went over there and got it charged and came back, and, and all's good. But, this goes back to some of our earlier conversations in the year and last year.
When
about,
Don Armstrong plugged in his to the house current at 110 volts, and it was going to take it 4 days to charge.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, it goes to this lifestyle change that when you make that commitment to the EV, and again, this, as I've learned since then, this one that I had, the GT all-wheel drive, it's got the bigger battery. It's got a little bit bigger motor in it, and so it takes a little more juice to run it.
Although I will say this, my buddy that I work with, he bought a new Tesla, and he charges it at home, never has any problems. However, there happens to be in our parking lot a newly installed electric charger for cars. So he's going to go steal the electricity up front.
All right. Instead of at home.
And I'll bet you
Think
that,
about that. That's pretty amazing. That the fact is, there are places you can go and fill up for free.
Yeah.
When was the last time that happened to you at a gas station?
Hey, and I'll tell you, there's a place right over here called First Colony Mall, right outside of Macy's. And by golly, you can pull up in that space out there and plug it up while you do your shopping for free.
Even the outdoor area.
Now this is the thing,
about.
though. Yes, you can do it while you're going to do your shopping. If you're and typically the free electricity is what's called a level 2 charger. So you're only going to get about 25 miles of range for each hour that you're plugged in. So why is the mall giving away electricity? Well, that 25 miles, if you're getting about 4 miles per kilowatt hour, is 6 kilowatts. So at 6 kilowatts, and in Texas, it's 10 cents a kilowatt, you're looking at the mall spending 60 cents in electricity to get you to stay an hour. That mall spends tons more in advertising trying to get you to come there.
Sure.
If they just put up a charger, give you 60 cents of electricity, and you, as a cheap guy, want to stay and get free electricity.
I resemble that remark.
Or have a charger that drains your car so you stay longer.
Yeah, but think about it. You're going to stay at that mall longer, and then what are you going to do? Well, you might go to the food court and spend some money, or you might go, oh, look at that. I think I got to buy that. So, it's completely self-serving. They're not doing it to save the planet. They're not doing it to drive EV adoption. They're getting into your wallet, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I understand how it works.
We used to talk about how people would pull in, or at work, they would pull in, they would plug their vehicle in and leave it all day while they're at work. Well, the one thing I learned on these chargers that I'm paying for, the bigger one came up and said, okay, you're going to charge here. When you get 80%, it starts notifying you. But when you're fully charged, you got 10 minutes to disconnect it, or it's going to start charging you again for taking up the space to keep somebody else from charging. So it's not going to sit there all day.
Absolutely should.
Well, I agree.
Sure.
Makes sense. Yeah. But, I just, that's another one of those things I learned.
Well, Buzz, clearly Chevrolet came out this week that they're actually already building the Bolt again after it being put on hiatus for however many months it's been. Apparently they've got the battery issue worked out where it doesn't catch the car on fire. And so I think that, and you said that you were in a Rivian recently. There are more and more EVs coming onto the market every day, and I would imagine that some of those that we've been talking about now for the past couple of years, they're going to reach market this year as well.
Oh yeah, and this year and next year there are so many cool vehicles coming out. I saw an Ioniq 5, by the way, on the way to South by Southwest on the road. So this was a consumer driving their brand new Ioniq 5, which is the sister to the Kia EV6. And it was just a gorgeous car. Now, he was going a little bit slower than I like to drive in Texas, so I went ahead and passed him. And when I got in front of him, EV drivers are sort of like Harley riders. We always kind of salute one another. And so I rolled down the window, stuck my thumb up outside, and he was flashing his lights at me and everything. So we were having fun on the road. But that was the first time I saw the Hyundai Ioniq 5 in the wild. Very nice looking car. But I think the general public just doesn't understand how fast this is about to happen. Because all new technology starts being adopted very slowly, and then suddenly it clicks in the minds of the public and it takes off like a rocket. We can already see that curve happening in the United States. EV adoption accelerating. It's doubling already year over year, and it's about to start tripling, quadrupling year over year. So it's an exciting time to be involved in this world. I've been driving electrically almost 10 years now. And it's been agonizing getting to this point, but I'm telling you guys, it's going to get really exciting real fast. And that Rivian truck, holy cow, that was something else. Now, it's out of my price range at the level that my friend had bought, but it was a hoot to drive. And I shot some video with the drone and all. He was doing donuts, kicking up some dust and all. So I'll get that video out on the YouTube channel pretty soon. But I'm telling you, the truck drivers are going to be the people that change the country to EVs, because those are the ones that had the biggest resistance. And I've literally had people tell me I've hated EVs all these years, but I know now that my next truck will be a Ford F-150 or Chevrolet Silverado EV or Rivian. They're all saying this now. And like the Tesla Cybertruck, we've been waiting a long time for that to come out. It's going to be built right here in Texas. But at the Cyber Rodeo, Elon Musk did announce that it's coming out next year.
Yeah, Don and I talked about that this morning before the show. How many EVs do you have your deposit on? Because I think the last time we talked, you had several. You still have that out there?
I have 3 right now, and I've been tempted to go for a 4th. But
and what are they?
Holding off.
What are they?
The Kia EV6, the Fisker Ocean SUV, and the Chevrolet Silverado EV. And I'm not a pickup truck guy, but that truck is just gorgeous. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's crew cab, and on the back wall of the crew cab below the window, that wall folds down when the seats fall forward.
Oh yeah, like the avalanche.
I think they showed a 10-foot, piece of wood being slid into it, and then being able to still hold it in the bed of that truck. Phenomenal idea. But if I had enough money, I'd probably put a deposit on the Ford F-150 now that I've ridden in one, probably the Mustang Mach-E, because I love that car as well. It's like a kid in a candy store for me. I'm having a tough time.
Next time we talk to him, he's going to be opening up an EV lot.
Well, I'm
selling EV only.
There's an abandoned or closed gas station. I'm thinking about getting run some extension cords in there and make it an EV.
Buzz, it's always great to
use extension cords when charging an EV.
Buzz, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure, and we'll talk to you over the summer.
Thank you,
Sounds
sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Love talking to him.
Yep.
It's always fun. Time now for some of the stories making headlines this week. First of all, let's do recalls, okay, because we've got a bunch of them. Windshield wipers may fail on the Chevy, the GMC, Equinox Terrain, respectively, 2014 through 2015. A Volkswagen Taos and the Volkswagen Tiguan 2021 to 22 rear suspension knuckle may break. That's not a good thing.
No.
Pretty much every Audi that known to man is being recalled because of a blocked turbocharger oil strainer 2013 through 2017. Jeep Grand Cherokee tether weld missing from the seat back frame 21 to 22. If you got kids, that would be important. Chrysler Pacifica and Voyager 21 to 22 model years, seat not properly secured.
Those are minivans. Can't have that.
Again, every Mercedes I think ever built. No, from 21 to 22, steering wheel hands-off detection software error.
Hands-off detection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in other words, you need to go in for that. Software error may deactivate control panel from deviate. Mercedes-Benz EQ for 2022. Ford Bronco Sport and Escape. Engine oil leak. Expedition. Every Ford, I think, again, 21 to 22, the trailer brakes may fail.
Now, Conrad's always said there's a safety and then there's a convenience on some of these.
Rear axle carrier may fail in the Mercedes-Benz for 22 on the S500 and S580. Trunk emergency release may fail in case you get stuck in the back of a trunk while you're being snuck into a drive-in movie. And the Genesis and the Hyundai for 2019 through 2020. Hyundai Santa Cruz and Santa Fe for 22. Turbocharger oil supply pipe may leak. And same thing for the Kia Sorento 2022. And those are the recalls for this week. Always, it's safercar.gov. Type in your VIN number, and you can find almost immediately whether or not your car has been recalled. Elon Musk could have broken securities laws again by missing a disclosure deadline when he bought 9% of Twitter. Meanwhile, Twitter named Musk to its board of directors, and Securities and Exchange Commission regulators could use any shortfall to try to punish Musk more for other lapses, some believe. Musk on Monday disclosed that he bought a 9.2% stake in Twitter, making him the site's largest shareholder and triggering a rise of more than 27% in the company's shares.
Was it like $8?
I don't know. U.S. securities law requires disclosure within 10 days of acquiring 5% of a company, which in Musk's case would be March 24th. Late report could lead to per violation civil penalty up to $207,000 when adjusted for inflation. That $207,000. He's got watches that are more expensive.
He paid more commission. He paid more than that on commission to buy that stock.
You know that.
Wow, $8 I'm talking.
And National Highway Traffic Safety Administration on Tuesday said it's opening a review to ensure all defective batteries produced by LG Energy Solution have been recalled by automakers. Auto Safety Agency noted Mercedes-Benz, Chrysler parent Stellantis, GM, and Hyundai have issued recalls since 2020 due to internal failures in high-voltage vehicle batteries that pose fire risks.
Wow. Thermal events.
If you own a EV, that may be something that you want to look into because a bunch of them have been recalled, and apparently they're not getting recalled. Figure that one out. All right, time now for a quick break. I want to remind you that if you'd like to get in touch with us, our address is info@inwheeltime.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show returns after a brief break.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Tony Stewart Racing joins the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his drivers, Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagan, will face off against NHRA stars including the legendary John Force Racing Team. Don't miss this battle of horsepower and performance. It's the final NHRA Spring Nationals event at Houston Raceway Park. Don't miss it, April 22nd through 24th. This is your last chance for nitro action in Baytown. Tickets at HoustonRaceway.com.
And be sure and listen for our live broadcast from the Spring Nationals. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite car talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
Welcome to the In Real Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Coming up, more car talk that you want to know.
Yes.
Including selecting road trip tires. That's going to come up in our next hour.
Well, maybe.
I got to drive the 2022 Lexus ES300H. I'll tell you my thoughts on it. We've got the cruise-in calendar, This Week in Auto History, plus the stories making car news this week. Just ahead in this hour of the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And joining us right now on the Zoom app is Angelica Brothers with Hagerty.
Hey.
Angelica, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. Huh?
I know. I get to see you, almost back to back last week or 2 weeks ago?
It was two weeks ago. Yeah,
was it
you
2
were
weeks ago.
Garages.
Okay.
Yeah, you were out there at Garages of Texas hawking business.
I was.
Hawking business.
Well, how have you been? What's been going on? You been busy?
Very busy. I went to Amelia Island for the big car show.
Oh my
there in
God,
March.
you did.
I'm bragging.
Yeah,
It
you
was
are making us
amazing.
jealous. How do we get on this Hagerty junket trips that you get on?
You can just come with me. I'll put you in my suitcase.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
take
say,
lots of them.
yeah, no doubt. So Hagerty Insurance. So for those that watch our show, listen to our show, why don't we just start with the basics? And we see Hagerty every once in a while, but it's not a Progressive and it's not an Allstate or a State Farm, is it?
We are not. But we do partner with some of those folks because they don't have a program like we do where we insure the collector vehicles. So
Collector. And what is considered a collective vehicle in the insurance industry?
it's going to be a vehicle that does not go down in value or maybe increases in value. It does well in the car world market. It may sell for a lot more than you bought it for. They may be in short production, or there may be only a few of them. Any classic at this point, any car that's over 25 years old would be considered a collector.
Okay, so has it moved from 20 years old to 25 years old now?
Yes.
When
For
did-
us, it's usually 25 years old.
25 years old.
Mhm.
So in other words, my car, my 21-year-old car, doesn't qualify again anymore.
So your car does qualify, but we cannot be your primary insurance carrier. So you have to have
So you know
another.
what? So what kind of
Yeah,
crap is that?
yeah, there's a question. I have
Would
that
you
question.
please explain that to me?
Okay, now I know that Mike set me up. This is a trap. Okay.
So really,
So we just want you to have your daily driver, right? I know you get to drive all the cool cars because you get all the press cars. Like, I'm very jealous about the Lexus, by the way. So we have to have you have a State Farm, an Allstate, a Farmers policy for that daily driver, and then we can take your fun car and insure that one.
but you see, I already have insurance on my fun car through Allstate.
Yeah, I know, but we can't take it.
So here's a question I have. So you went from 20 years to 25 years. I've got a 21-year-old car, say, and I get it insured through Hagerty, and then, oops, we changed it to 25. Do I still have insurance if I got to go back?
Yeah,
Am I canceled?
It's always been 25 years for Hagerty in particular. I don't know if like the registration or getting classic or antique plates is 20 years, but if you already have a policy with us, that policy is going to be active unless you don't pay the premium and it cancels for
Or
non-payment.
until Don's car gets to be 24 and a half years old.
they-
And
it's
they're
30.
going to move it up to 30.
There you go. Woo. And you can't.
No. See, the thing is, we insure new cars too. So even if you have a 2022 Corvette, we'll insure that one as long as it's not your primary mode of transportation.
Your daily driver.
Or yellow.
Yes.
So you get to drive. You get to insure all of these really cool classic cars, whether it's a amphicar or it is a 1966 Shelby GT 500 or whatever the case may be. Some classic, really cool, very rare car. How do you price insurance for something that it could be worth $5 million? How do you insure that? If I tell you my car is worth $10 million and you say, okay, how do you insure that?
Well, you may tell us that it's $10 million, but if it's not selling in auction or in private sales or at a dealership for $10 million and you can't justify that value, we probably will not insure it for $10 million.
So how do you justify the value of a car?
We have a whole team that keeps track of what's going on in the market. So they actually attend all the auctions. So Mika and Barrett-Jackson, all the big events like in Scottsdale in California, in Florida. They also keep track of dealership sales.
Now, are these the guys that wear the funky teeth and the Beatle haircut wigs and stuff like
glasses and the fake nose?
Try to blend in.
That's very possible.
Yes. We know how you insurance people roll.
So you were at Amelia Island. How many policies did you write out there?
Well, me personally, I'm still working on a big one, but it hasn't happened yet. But it was more of a networking event for us. And then we just purchased that event last year. So it was the first time that it was an actual Hagerty event, 100%.
Oh.
So I'm sure some of my coworkers who live in Florida sold a lot more than I did. But
So
there weren't a lot of Texas folks over there.
Let's go back to what we were talking about earlier, and that is how to place a value on a car. So you've got people that go to car auctions, and you know what these cars sell for typically. So let's just use let's come up with something that is rare. How about a 69 Camaro Z28 numbers matching car? And I just paid $200,000 for it at Mecum, and this car is all original, numbers matching, top of the line. How do I justify that with you?
Well, if you have a receipt that you pay that for it, we'll take that, right? Because now you have documentation showing that that car was worth that much because it sold for that much.
At an auction that typically deals with that kind of stuff, not just some guy that was in the newspaper.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But I may have paid $200,000 for it, but in reality, in all of the other auctions, that car may have been worth only $100,000. How do you handle that?
So we do check comparables, kind of like real estate.
So you can so when you do that, so you can sit back and laugh and go, this guy, he just got ripped off to no end.
Yeah, let me sell him my Volkswagen now.
Well, I'm not that mean, but you may do that.
Yeah, and you know Don Armstrong well enough to go, yep, he would do that.
Yeah, that's
he
him.
would totally do that in public on a radio show too.
That's exactly. And I would admit to it.
You're right, because you're an honest person.
Yeah.
But no, we have all our underwriters are amazing, and they know what's going on in the market. We have a lot of resources in hand, and we always try to make it as easy as possible for the client. So if you pay $200,000 and we can justify that value, we'll work with you to put that on there and get you the policy for what you need.
Now, what if I have a collection of cars? Let's say that the Don Armstrong dummy buying experience has purchased a collection of 60 cars. Do I get a discount because I've got 60 cars?
Absolutely. So anytime you go over $500,000, you get put into another type of policy. It's called the expert collector policy. And at that point, your cars are insured as if they were a piece of art or jewelry. So you have coverage all over the world. and then you pay for liability, but not on each car. You just have like an umbrella liability coverage, which makes it a lot.
So in other words,
reasonable.
I mean, if I had, God forbid, I had a museum or, you know, the Don Armstrong experience where I display all of the cars, and let's just say that the whole thing went up in a big blaze
They
because
used to call
lightning
those
hit
junkyards.
Yeah. The whole thing went up in a big blaze because lightning struck the building. You would be able to cover all of those cars.
All of those cars. So the more the merrier. We have excellent multi-car discounts. So the bigger your collection is, probably the better the rate would be. But the coverage is the most important part, right? Not just the price. So if you have on top of the cars, you may have stuff like the Hemi Hideout, and you have a bunch of neon signs and gas pumps and all that kind of stuff. We'll cover that too on that collection policy.
Interesting. Okay. Now, you also mentioned that you're also writing policies for new cars. Is that something new? Because I didn't know that you did that.
It's been at least 6 or 7 years since we started adding what we call the modern collector. But it's basically any Corvette, any Porsche, not the SUVs, but all the exotics.
But the rule still stands that cannot be your daily driver.
It cannot be your daily driver.
Gotcha.
That's the rule.
So in other words, if I went and bought a special edition 2022 Corvette with 1,000 horsepower, they're only going to build 5 of them, and I'm going to put it in the garage, then it would qualify.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got it.
So if you have a collection, you've got 5 cars and they're $1 million overall. Do you have to let Hagerty know that you're going to be using one or maybe taking one to a show so that you're making you well aware of what you're doing with the vehicle?
No. The only time you would have to do that is if you tell us, hey, all my cars are never driven and I just want comprehensive coverage on them if they catch on fire or if they flood. And you don't have liability on them, then you would call us to tell us. But if you just have a regular policy and you have a collection, you don't have to let us know necessarily what you're doing with them. If you want to go to the grocery store with one of your cars, that's fine, or just out to dinner, whatever you want to do, as long as you're not taking it to work every day.
So
that's about it.
Speaking of things catching on fire, in my collection, since we're what if I've got a 1957 Chevy? Real nice car, but now I've converted it from a V8 to an electric vehicle.
Project X.
Well, you're
Project
a dummy.
Okay.
We insure those too. I just found that out. So apparently that's the new trend. Mike and I were talking about that, where you can convert your classic car or any car, right, into an electric vehicle. And we will insure those vehicles. It would be rated as a modified vehicle, so the rate may be a little bit higher. But the new electric motor and everything else would be covered under the Hagerty policy.
But there was some limitations we were talking about.
The limitations we were talking about is you have to buy a professional kit. Even if you install it yourself, the kit has to be official or
what we would call a crate motor, and General Motors actually has those.
Well, so does Ford, but
not a shade tree.
But so I was asking her about that, and if you buy the crate motor, that's not a complete kit because you don't have all the controllers and all the batteries.
But why would you buy that without the controller? Because you can't do anything with it without the controller.
Well, but the way I understood Angelica, though, it was you can buy the complete kit with everything, controllers, everything. But now if you go out to buy that crate motor from Ford or Chevrolet, then you go over here to Joe Blow's and you buy the controller, and then you go out to ABC Batteries and buy the battery.
Right.
If you piece it together,
that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. No.
Gotcha.
Or if you have a shop, install it and convert it, that's covered too. We just don't want you doing it yourself in the garage if we don't know
the shade tree mechanic out there.
Do you grade these facilities? I mean, is there a facility that says, "Hey, I want to do this. Can you help me out? Can you recommend?" Or you're on your own?
We don't usually recommend anybody, but shops that may be able to fix your car after you've had an accident. We have a list of shops that we will recommend to clients, but I don't think the electric conversion shops have made it into the.
Yeah, I mean, that's
because
drilling down
you remember
too
we
much.
talked to some of those guys down there in Florida that was doing it and showing people how to do it. And then versus the guys that we talked out in Long Beach that you actually bring your vehicle in here,
Right.
park it, and they do everything.
Right. But they are also the parts supplier, the controllers, the hemostats, and all the other stat things that they've got underneath the hood that I know nothing about.
Right.
But
and I think that's the point of what the underwriter is telling her is that, this is such a new technology that the shade tree guys, for sure.
Well, let's
lost.
just say, for instance, that we're in the in-wheel time car club, and that the three of us decide that we're going to have a Project X of our own. I am not going to piece together something like that.
No.
I'm going to go to Ford. I'm going to go to Chevrolet, a Tesla, or whoever it is that sells the whole kit and caboodle, and that's what I'm going to put in there.
Right.
Not only is it going to make it easier for me, I don't have to reinvent the wheel that's already been invented, and then I go to her, and now I can insure it. Just makes it a whole lot simpler.
Well, and for newbies like us, I absolutely agree with you. That's what the majority are going to do. But there's going to be some of them out there that have done it once or twice. I'm going to say, well, I can do better than buying this kit. I'm going to piece, kind of like building computers.
I understand.
And there'll be some that'll do that.
Yeah. Well, so how I know that one of the times that we have talked in the past that you were able to significantly reduce the car insurance that we were paying for a Corvette, say, for instance, that only gets driven. I haven't driven mine now in 5 weeks. So you were significantly less than, let's just say, Allstate or State Farm or Progressive or any of those other car insurance companies. And you're able to do that because I don't drive it that much.
Right. So whenever you start the policy, we'll ask you, hey, how many miles do you drive this a year? And if you tell us under 1,000, we'll rate you for under 1,000 miles. Now, if you decide to take a road trip all across the USA and it goes over the 1,000 miles, that's fine. We don't
Penalize you. Yeah.
cancel you. We don't penalize you. It's fine. We want our clients to use their cars, but that's how we rate based on your estimated mileage.
So if I wanted to go on, for instance, the Hot Rod Power Tour, which is one of those that happens every summer, it's coming up here in a couple of weeks, I think,
Right.
That it goes from, I don't know, Erie, Pennsylvania to Chicago over a 5-day period of time. And I know for a fact from the pictures that I have seen, I've not been on it yet, that the pictures that I've seen, it's every kind of classic collector car that you could ever want. And I would imagine that most of them would have a Hagerty sticker on the back of it if they would put a sticker on their car, because that's the kind of insurance that they have.
Absolutely. And that we totally encourage you to do stuff like that. And a lot of times if you're using the car for what we call hobby use, so you're taking it to the car show or you're meeting with your car club friends or you have coffee and cars, those miles technically don't count towards your usage that you told us at the beginning. So
really the only problem that you would have with any kind of a classic would be like, for instance, Don the Snake Prudhomme's 1969 Top Fuel dragster that I run on the drag strip every once in a while. That would be an issue.
that would be an issue because racing is never covered, not under Hagerty policy or any other policy.
Got it. Just wanted to make that clear.
Yes. Do not try this at home.
Somebody's going racing.
But you know Don Armstrong, don't you?
I do know him.
Yes.
You better get yours out on the road.
But she doesn't like to tell anybody that she knows him. And I can totally
She was hanging her head while she was saying that.
Yeah, oh, dear God, I do not know this man
I
forever.
wanted to emphasize it with some drama.
Yeah, right.
You need to put one of those things on the TV when they have to black out the witness. You know.
The blur thing.
The blur witness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pixelate the face.
Pixelate. There you go.
Angelica, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us and bringing us up to date on great product from Hagerty. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info at inwheeltime.com. Time now for the cruise-in calendar.
Got the cruising killer. I'm on deck. Here we go. Saturday, May 14th, 8 a.m., the Arkansas Camaro Fest. Bring your mullet. I know Conrad's been promoting this in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. That's wonderful.
What?
Yeah. Bring your mullet. Saturday, May 7th, from 5 to 9, Beaumont Main Street Gala. That's right up your alley there.
Yes.
Jefferson Theater. Can you tell
Do you
us
know
more
about that?
I do know about that. It's going to be pretty cool. In fact, I'm trying to get somebody lined up to join us.
No, are you going to go?
Yes, because it'll be part of it in the evening after we get through with the show. I'll have time to get back and get to it.
Wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you going to wear the great big in-wheel time shirt, or is that the sandwich board you're going to take?
I hadn't thought of that.
See, what a great idea. There goes Mars with the sandwich board.
There you go. What's on special today? Well, on May 20th at 6 p.m. through the 21st, which is the next day at 11:45 to 11:45, Space City Showdown 3.0 at Houston Raceway. How about that? May 20th at noon through the 22nd, Go Topless Weekend, Crystal Beach.
God.
Yeah, I know.
Every weekend for me.
I saw that. I
steer
read
clear
that.
of
Yeah.
that thing.
Oh, yeah.
I would never do that
86 that off that. Saturday, May 21st, 9 to 3, Magnolia Days Festival Car Show at 1014 Milam Street in Columbus, Texas. Not far from here. Saturday, June 11th, 10 a.m., Surfside, Texas Beach Cruise. I lived in Clute.
Wait
Love
just
Surfside.
a minute. They don't
Yeah.
have a beach in
Yeah, they
Surfside
do. Yeah,
anymore.
well, they're
there's no. You cannot drive on the beach at
Well, that doesn't mean
Surfside.
there's-
Can't?
Doesn't mean there's not a beach there.
They're importing it from Beaumont.
Okay, go ahead.
Pumping it in.
They're pumping it in. August 12th, 10 a.m. Through the 14th till 6 p.m. The 2022 Texas Wake and Scrape. That's what it says, Texas Wake and Scrape at 3925 State Highway 30 in Huntsville. And that's 77340.
Leads right to the penitentiary.
There you go. Oh,
right.
Sparky.
Yep, that's it. All right, time now for this hour's car review. The 2022 Lexus ES is the car.
Okay.
Available trim levels include the 250, the 300H, and the 350. I had the 300H, which is a hybrid. It is a midsize four-door sedan, 5 passengers. It is part of the 7th generation of the ES, introduced in 2019. Boy, this is a nice car. The exterior features include updated spindle grille that is the face of the Lexus brand. Older BMW-style bustle trunk lid with incorporated spoiler. I looked at that thing, I think, wait a minute. I remember when BMW came out with the deal that looked like that back in the day. I like, okay, it's not bad, actually. Attractive, modern slash lighting, front and rear. Get the big optional wheels, please. I mean, it does make a difference in the overall look. What I liked about it, the total modern design of this sedan. And I bring that to your attention because they ain't making many sedans anymore. What could use improvement? I'm not going to say grill. Interior highlights, roomy, comfortable interior. Absolutely beautiful. Seating is superb. Infotainment screen actually now is touch sensitive, moving the screen closer to the driver as well. However, it still has that bothersome touchpad down on the center console. No contraire mon frere. And it does not have a passive phone charger, which is kind of disappointing because I like throwing my phone down there without having to plug it in and it just starts charging right away.
That's strange.
Trunk room, adequate, but it's a small opening, so you can't get big articles like a big box in there.
Golf clubs.
You can get golf clubs in there.
Okay.
Awkward touchpad on the center console. I mentioned that. What could use improvement? Well, there's some odd control placement, and you're unable to override that lane keeping assist steering thing. Okay. Every car's got its quirks. It's got those as well. A 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder engine, 215 total system power. 215 horsepower total system doesn't seem like much, but it's connected to a CVT transmission. It is not a race car by any stretch of the imagination, but that's not what it's built for. This is a luxury sedan. 43 miles per gallon in the city, 44 on the highway for a combined of 44. I got 39 over 480.4 miles. What I liked? Hello, fuel mileage. What could use improvement? Looking forward to more battery power. Ride and handling. Controlled compliance. What could use improvement? Absolutely nothing. This is a businessman's long-haul, comfortable sedan. If you want to look good and not pay $1 bajillion for a nice sedan, this would be it. I was really impressed with it. Believe it or not, Don Armstrong. All right, base trim price $51.80. That's the trim price. As tested, $56,000. Base model price. If you want to just get into one of these cars, you can get into one, $41,900.
Wow,
which is a bargain. Competitors, well, I had to drill down into this because there aren't many competitors when it comes to the hybrid sedan models. They include Honda Accord Hybrid, starts at $27,320. The Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, $27,200. But if you want to get into the luxury side, then you're going to go to the BMW 5 Series Hybrid for $55,500, which would be probably its closest competitor. Yeah. But all of those are pretty nice cars. And the whole thing with this hybrid deal is that you're going to get some great gas mileage.
You know who owns one of these on a 2020 model? Jason and Caitlin. They own this vehicle. He leases it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he has good taste in cars.
He does. In fact,
maybe
Kathy,
it's because he works at the Lexus dealership.
It could be too, but Kathy wants to actually buy it when it comes off a lease.
Well, I'll tell you what. She may be disappointed in the actual pick up and go with the engine, but with the CVT transmission, it kind of negates that. And it's all about the gas mileage and the luxury. And boy, that ride.
The luxury. And that's why he bought it for.
Oh, my God, that ride is just, you can't beat the ride.
She's styling. Yep. It's a good, it's a good
And there's
vehicle.
a big difference between the Japanese ride quality and the German ride quality. In other words, the BMW.
Right.
You really can't compare the two because they do ride differently. And it's noticeable if you put them back to back, and you notice the difference. And preferably, I would go for the Lexus. That's mine.
Yep. They enjoy it. They like it.
Okay. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeartRadio app, which we're doing right now, and Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast source. Mike cuts the 30-minute versions of those up and puts one up every day of the week, except Saturday when we are live. Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Show. We'll be back right after this quick break.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022.
I screwed
It's
up.
the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Tony Stewart Racing joins the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his drivers, Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagen, will face off against NHRA stars including the legendary John Force Racing Team. Don't miss this battle of horsepower and performance. It's the final NHRA Spring Nationals event at Houston Raceway Park. Don't miss it, April 22nd through 24th. This is your last chance for nitro action in Baytown. Tickets at HoustonRaceway.com.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
Hello. Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Coming up, we'll have the popular This Week in Auto History segment, and we'll get you updated on the stories making automotive news headlines this week. We've also got some features and an interview. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, Jeffrey. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Conrad's out again today.
Nuts. Come on.
He's still partying in Austin.
Party.
What? I don't know.
Well, last weekend his son got some Hall of Fame
Right,
award
for water sports.
polo,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what he's doing there. This
I thought
week.
that was this weekend.
No,
He
that
was
was
working
last
last weekend. One
No, it was
weekend
this
he was
weekend.
working, and
It's
one weekend.
This weekend he's working. I think he's
Okay.
got a
What do
program
you
he's doing.
what
Some
do
sort
you
of
what do
conference.
you consider working on his behalf?
Showing up.
I was just going to say showing up.
Showing up. I'm
Hi,
working.
I'm
yeah.
here.
You bet.
It's kind of like the Pope.
Oh.
kinda
I
like-
wouldn't consider Conrad any Pope material. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, it's kind of like here, though. I keep telling my wife, I'm going to work. I'm going to work. And she just
Do
snickers.
you
and-
actually say that?
Yes, I do.
You
This
do?
is my work. Yes.
What would you do without us?
He'd drive in here every day and
Sleep late.
You'd sleep late.
He'd be living at the beach, his beach house.
Yeah.
Would you live at the beach?
No.
Especially with the Jeep weekend coming up.
Ooh.
Bolivar,
Dude, that is an event to run from.
really.
It has
Yeah.
turned into that. Yeah. Used to
I've-
be a lot of fun.
I have never been there, but I know that you fellas have
They have
taken the
people
show there.
die there.
They've taken the show there.
Well, they have
and
things that you see things there that no man should ever see.
Like what?
Conrad and I was there one year, and before we were doing our show, we were going down the beach, and there were things in the golf cart coming towards us that just
What kind of things?
big naked things.
with
big
mullets.
naked women?
with
Ooh.
mullets.
I guess I couldn't see past what was in front
Oh
of me.
my God! I don't want to see that.
We didn't either. It's burned into my brain.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
I'm
it's
good.
9:31 in the morning. People are having breakfast now, Mike. So come on.
Well, that's why I'm not describing it anymore.
Good.
Hey.
I'm glad to hear that.
So Jim's over here. He looks like Jim.
Let's turn our attention to Jim Christian. Jim, hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. And where are we talking to you from?
Texarkana, Texas, or actually Arkansas.
Are you in Texarkana, Arkansas?
I am.
Wow. You know, I have not been through Texarkana in probably 20, 30 years. But now,
Well, it's a great.
but now
to
I've got
visit.
an excuse to go to
There you go.
Texarkana
Absolutely.
because I can go and see Jim Christian
Mhm.
at the Four-State Auto Museum. And
That's correct.
so, Jim, did you start this museum up there?
No, this was started by Texark Antique Auto Club, and it started out as just a meeting place for them. And then eventually it turned into a museum. They started working on this back in 2001, and then it became a museum around 2008.
And you had
So-
hair back in 2000, I'll bet.
hey.
Yeah, well, no, not really. It was a little darker maybe back then.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, well, and you could say a little longer because we didn't know you back then, and I could kind of see you with the fringe around the side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I try to keep what I can.
no.
I'm with you, Jim. Let's move on.
Yeah, well, okay, we're going to move on. So, Jim, tell me about this this museum. What is inside the museum?
Well, it's a small museum, but it's got a lot of things in it. I would put it that way. got a lot of. We've got gas pumps. We've got old kerosene and oil, hand crank dispensers, and we've got a lot of signs. We've got a lot of memorabilia. We've got all kinds of stuff in here.
Jim, it sounds to me like this is really your man cave. Am I off a little bit on that or no?
Well, it's not my man cave. This is a not-for-profit museum. So it's I'm just on the board of the museum. So
I got you. Okay.
It's all the cars in here that are here are on loan, with the exception of a couple of Model Ts that the museum actually owns.
Interesting. How many cars do you have there?
Right now, I think we've got probably about 14. So it's, like I said, it's not a real big museum, but we've got quite a variety. My video's not working right now on my side. So are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you, buddy.
Okay, let me turn this around then. How about that?
Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So let me back up, and I'm going to kind of go back to the entrance here where you can kind of see what's going on here. I don't know. You can see Texarkana Gateway to the southwest there. That's the entry here into the museum.
Yeah.
And then we've got the gas pumps here.
Now, Jim, I have to ask you this question. So the actual museum itself is in Texarkana, Arkansas. Explain to
We're
people.
on the Arkansas side.
Yeah. So explain to people how the city Texarkana is divided up state-wise.
Well, the majority of Texarkana is on the Texas side, but State Line Road goes north and south through Texarkana, and that's the dividing line between the Texas side and the Arkansas side.
Mm-hmm. So why does the museum call itself Four-State Auto Museum when there's only two?
Well, because we are in the corner of Oklahoma and Louisiana also. So we're here in the northeast Texas, south west corner of Arkansas, but Oklahoma is not far from here, and Louisiana is not far from here.
It's the Four Corners.
Yeah. So in other words, for lunch, we could go over to the Oklahoma side and have a buffalo steak sandwich.
There you go.
And then in the evening, we could drive over to the Louisiana side and we have some
boudin,
and some crawfish.
Crawfish, exactly.
I actually had an office in Texarkana, Texas, and folks used to go there, and the people that worked on the Texas side actually lived on the Arkansas side. They would commute back and forth across the state.
Yeah. So Jim,
go ahead.
I guess how did the police handle all of that traffic that you've got there running up and down the state line road?
Well, that's I don't really know that. They've helped us out quite a bit. We're getting ready to have the Bandit Run here, and they give all of our Bandit runners that have Trans Ams that come to this every 5 years. They come through here and do a Bandit Run. They start out in Texarkana, and then they go to Atlanta, Georgia, kind of on a back roads tour and have stops along the way. So they give us a police escort, and I'm not really sure whether it's the Texas or the Arkansas side, because we're coming down state line from I-30 up there where the hotels are and everything down to the museum. And I'll show you a picture of that here in a few minutes when I get around to the TV screen.
Well, Jim, your reputation, I think, precedes you, because I heard that the police want to escort you right out of town.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's it.
I think that's probably more the case, isn't it?
Getting rid of you.
Well, it's pretty interesting. When we had the Bandit Run last time, they blocked off the road down here leaving out of downtown Texarkana, and they blocked it off so that the Trans Ams could do their burnouts, and we were handing out Coors beer at the same time. So they're pretty understanding.
The Bandit
so-
Run, of
down
course.
here.
Have to have, of course.
There is the Bandit Run.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Watch this.
Exactly.
Okay, so
yeah, and they were kind of ragging on some of them that didn't do very good burnouts too.
Need more beer.
well, that's one of the things that I like about us car guys. We can tease and prod each other into doing some crazy things, and I'm glad that the police are right there with us.
Yeah. Well, they're very supportive. The city's very supportive of the museum on both sides. So.
All right. So what are we looking at there? Is that a cab?
This is a cab. This is a 1950 DeSoto Skyview, and my understanding of this taxi is that the largest DeSoto dealership in the United States decided that they wanted to get in on the cab business. So I think they had like 50 of these made. Now, I don't know how many of them survived, but they called it the Skyview, and as you can see, and they have the Skyview.
Oh my God! That they actually had a sunroof in these cars in 1950.
Exactly, so that when they're driving around New York City, they could see all the skyscrapers.
It's almost like a limo, the way the seats sit back there.
Well, it's a 1950
really is.
DeSoto. For God's sakes, the thing is as big as a house.
It is, and I don't know. It probably weighs about 7,500 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure.
Yeah, probably with a straight
But,
six in it.
Yeah, well, I think this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's got the original engine in it or not. They may have put a Chevy in it eventually at some point. But anyway, I thought y'all would like to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Here's one of the things on the Bandit Run that's coming up, just so we can plug it. Will be May 22nd. So.
No, that's when you
before
leave
States
town.
Open. That's a Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I believe. And so they're going to show up on the Saturday before. We're going to actually have the Bandit Run meet on that Sunday, and I'll show you a picture over here. This is what we had 5 years ago. Am I framing that right?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so you can see the cop car, Bert's car, Jerry Reed's rig there. We had about 100 Trans Ams show up from all over the country. The guys from Gas Monkey were here. Restore a Muscle Car is the one that sponsors it. They're out of Nebraska. So we had a great time.
Well,
And,
it sounds like a great time. So are you inviting people / us to come up there
Absolutely.
and party down in Texarkana?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what kind of car do you have, Jim?
Well, I've got I'm a Studebaker guy. I've got a 1957 Studebaker Hawk.
Oh, nice.
I've got a 1951 Studebaker truck. And then I've got a couple of El Caminos. I've got a 59 and a 60. I'll show you the 59. It's back here in the back of the museum.
Oh,
here.
so you've donated you haven't donated your car to the museum. You put it on loan to the museum. No, none of those things. You're using the museum for storage, aren't you?
Exactly. There's a few of our board members that have cars in here. So, but at one time or another, half the cars that I've got have been in here. So, but sometimes it's getting a little harder and harder to get people to loan their cars.
Sure.
What it works out pretty good.
What did this building What was this building originally?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you can tell from this picture, but the floor slopes in here. It slopes, and this building originally, well, I don't know exactly originally what it was. At one time, it was a poultry growers association, and these windows that you see here in the front were actually doors on the front of this thing. And so when they had all the chickens and the little chicks and the feed and everything in here at the end of the week, I guess, when this place got pretty rank, they just open these doors and wash everything out of here down out into this pool.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that smelled like.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, that was long enough ago that the smell has left.
That's
so
good. Yeah.
We're in good shape.
Now, how many cars did you say that you've got in there?
I think it's about 14. I could count them real quick.
No, you don't have to count them. It just looks like there's more than 14 in there. That's all.
How many of them are insured with Hagerty?
Yeah, we just had the Hagerty lady on.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably quite a few. Hagerty helps us out. They sent, for our car shows, we do goodie bags and stuff, and so Hagerty always sends us bags to put our goodie bag stuff in, and Hagerty's been real supportive of this. Matter of fact, they came down here for a shoot here a while back and drove they have a Javelin, I guess, that they drove down here, and so we had a good time with them.
How far away from Eureka Springs, Arkansas, are you?
It's probably about to get to Eureka Springs, Arkansas is kind of a winding deal. So I would imagine it's probably 4 hours.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay. Yeah, because the Arkansas Camaro Fest in May.
Arkansas what?
Camaro Fest is in May.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, we need to send the Camaro Fest down there to visit the museum.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, yes.
Do you want me to kind of do a walkthrough? Or
yeah, let's just do a quick walkthrough here. Let's see what you got.
Okay. There's a 55 Hudson Wasp right there.
Oh boy.
It's original paint and everything. So, but so the question is whether you restore it or do you leave the patina there? We've got a 1956 Ford Thunderbird here, and of course every museum needs a Mustang, so we've got a 68 Mustang convertible here. We've got a 1969 Dodge pickup. Am I close enough? Too far away? Do I need to back up?
You're doing good.
Yeah,
everything's good.
Okay. Right here we've got a 1933 Chevrolet Master Eagle town sedan. So
do all these cars run?
Yeah, they all run.
Wow.
Every one of them. Here's something you don't see too often, a 1953 Henry J.
No, you certainly do not.
And we've got our car hop over there, with liver and some a burger or something over there. We've got a 67 Cobra. This is a replica, actually, but it's still pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then this Carriage right here was donated to the museum. Supposedly, it's Cyrus Dupont's Carriage, and the story behind this is he had this Carriage made and used to run around and see the ladies at night in this thing. So I don't know. That's the story. It's a good story. I don't know.
Well, we like the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
those
Carriage
kind of
could
stories.
talk.
You
That's
bet.
right.
This is a 1928 Hupmobile.
Oh, Hupmobile. I remember those.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of them and seen them before. I just like the name of it, Hupmobile.
If
Yeah,
that
it's kind of got
Hupmobile
that
could talk.
good gangster look to it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Little, or Munsters or something. I don't know.
What's that red car?
1930 Ford Model A.
Model A, yeah.
And then here's one of the two cars that the museum owns. This is a 1926 Ford Model T, and it's a Speedster.
And it's painted
How do
the
you like
wrong
that
color.
Yeah.
How do you like that screen on that thing.
It's like a Struts Bearcat.
Yeah.
Evidently, this was a hot rod kit that you could put on a Model T.
That's
Oh, wow.
That's pretty weird because I don't think I've ever seen a Model T painted yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's actually eggshell looking. I don't know how the color's coming through.
Well,
but
whatever.
it's
It's not black.
Yeah. It wasn't one of the original multiple options there.
That's
Anyway,
right.
yeah. It's an aftermarket, fenders and everything and all that for the I don't know. The whole
I don't know.
setup.
I didn't know that they even made any aftermarket parts of the hot rod category.
Yeah, AutoZone
for
carries
Model
them.
Ts. For Model Ts.
Yeah, it was called a Speedster. And here's a 1921 Model T
J.C. Whitney.
touring car. Got a little oil leak there, but we use this in parades and stuff, and so it's a lot of fun.
Do you host
And,
do you host any parties there?
Oh yeah.
I was going to say because you know
Yeah.
Ken Lingenfelter, who's not only in charge of the hot rod company Lingenfelter, but he also has a collection of cars there in the back, and a lot of General Motors folks have parties out there amongst the cars, and it's pretty popular actually. And he told me that they're always booked up at least a year in advance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great
There's
place
a,
to have a wedding or something, or celebrate Jeff's hair growth.
Yeah.
We've actually had weddings here. We've had memorial services here. We've had
There you go.
We've had a lot of photo shoots for graduation and stuff down here. Prom night, we've had kids come by here and take pictures.
Rap videos.
Yeah.
Rap videos.
So here's
Is
You
that
should,
the
you should
59?
have told your daughter about this place instead of, the wedding last weekend. You could have went there.
Yeah.
I think we're good. I mean, that's not.
They
a
want the
put down.
marriage to last.
Yeah. I like the convenience of driving 25 minutes and I'm there. That was good.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
okay.
it would
There
be a
is that.
drive to go to Texarkana. Well, Jim, it's great to talk to you. Love the museum, and
Thank you.
I appreciate your thick skin and taking some good teasing from us this morning.
Oh, hey, it's if you can't have fun,
Yeah, that's right. Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
4-State Auto Museum website there. We can book our next wedding.
Yep, 4statesautomuseum.org.
Okay.
Perfect. Jim Christian, thank you again. We appreciate you. Take care and tell everybody in Texarkana we said hello.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History. Do you
Yep.
have that?
I do have that.
Well, you have to do some maneuvering.
Just
over
a little
there.
bit of maneuvering. I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Mars.
Okay.
And that kind of dropped through. Take that. And there you
We're
go.
going to go to that.
Yep. And then you ready?
Apparently, there's a lot more involved in this than meets the eye. But I just thought that on my sheet it says with This Week in Auto History. So
Well, I've got to change clothes and everything. So hold on.
Yeah,
All
he's got a different outfit for. You go ahead.
You got to put his dress on.
There you go. Okay, so thank you for sending this, Conrad. And Conrad, by the way, is in Austin this weekend.
We've heard
He
that several
corrected that.
times. Yes.
Well, we were confused on where he's at. So
I wasn't.
I was. 1905, the first aerial car ferry was put in operation over the ship channel.
Did you read this before
I
you?
did, but I was reading something else. Ship channel from Lake Avenue, Duluth, Minnesota, to Minnesota Point, Minnesota. So there's just two different points.
1905. I'm glad I didn't
1905.
fly in whatever that
Yep.
is.
The car was suspended in the air from a superstructure that loomed 135 feet clear of Lake Superior. The truss in the center of the structure was 51 feet high, placing the highest point of the superstructure at 186 feet off the surface of the lake.
Not just no, but oh, hell no.
No, I can't even get on the roof. The aerial ferry spanned 393 feet in length, while its car platform measured 34 feet by 50 feet. Those aerial ferries, they'll get you. The ferry could accommodate 6 cars, two glassed and passenger cabins, so there's encased in glass. Open near the rear of Playa del Rey, California.
That's Playa del Rey.
Yeah, but I just mixed up my lines.
Playa del Rey. You did not read that, did you?
I know. Well, I just mixed up a line.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, and moving on to 1910, the Los Angeles Motor Dome, the first speedway with a board track, opened near, here we go, Playa del Rey.
Playa del Rey.
That's just down the street, California, under the direction of Fred Moskowitz and Jack Prince. Check that out.
Please.
I'll spell that. Okay.
Please.
All right. The track is made of wood, ran a circumference of 5,281 feet. Board tracks use the same engineering technology as the smaller wood velodrome used in France for bicycle racing. The tracks were paved with 2x4s that were steeply banked, angles of as high as 45 degrees. That's pretty steep. On such a track, the car racing daredevil could reach speeds of up to 100 miles an hour, Mike. Hands-off steering wheel. So
it's kind of like the globe of death that you used to see.
Yeah. Okay, and then in 1922, racer Sig, he's doing this to me on purpose, Sig Hagelal, drove the Wisconsin Special over 180 miles an hour, one-way run the Daytona Beach Oval Racing. This person's name, speed was remarkable 24 mile an hour faster than the previous world land speed record. He's shaking his head. We're going to move on. The 1940, the Buick Y-Job, largely considered the first industry concept car, made its press debut. In 1959, the Mini is a 2-door compact car that was produced by the British Motor Company, BMC. In 1968, Jim Clark, one of the greatest Grand Prix racers of all time, died in a tragic accident during a Formula 2 race in Hockenheim, Germany. Clark was widely widely regarded as the most natural gifted F1 racer of all time. And lastly, in 2009, on this day, the Honda FCX Clarity, a 4-door sedan billed as the planet's first hydrogen-powered fuel cell vehicle intended for mass production, wins the World Green Award in the New York Auto Show. The first FCX Clarity cars came off the assembly line in Honda in Japan of 2008.
So somebody asked me one time, well, how do you get to read things so smoothly and make it all just kind of flow together? And I said, well, you sit down and you read it out loud to yourself. And if you stumble through some sections, look that section over and then go back from the top and read it all through again and again and again. And once you do that, you probably have it down.
You're
but
good.
Clearly, you did not read any of these things. So here's the script. Would you like to read it here? You'd probably. Well, I'm just teasing.
I know. Okay. All right.
Well,
this gets better.
Oh, I can only imagine that it would. So, unfortunately, we did not have the time because we fooled around too much in this segment that I'm not able to do the automotive news. But I promise that we will get to that coming up here in just a few minutes. So we encourage you to stay tuned, and I don't know why. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show returns after this.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In-Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Tony Stewart Racing joins the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his drivers, Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagan, will face off against NHRA stars including the legendary John Force Racing Team. Don't miss this battle of horsepower and performance. It's the final NHRA Spring Nationals event at Houston Raceway Park. Don't miss it, April 22nd through 24th. This is your last chance for nitro action in Baytown. tickets at HoustonRaceway.com.
And by the way, the In Wheel Time Car Show will be broadcasting live on Saturday the 23rd from Houston Raceway Park. Lots of drivers, lots of interviews. You're going to love the show. Be sure and tune in.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Coming up, we talk with Hot Rod Tour of Texas organizer, His Eminence Bobby Sparkman.
All right.
Jeffrey has our pre-owned car of the week, the Mazda 3. Conrad's out today, but we'll have the racing calendar. We'll also have the stories making automotive news headlines, if I can have enough time to do that and I don't get interrupted. It's just ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Computer Mars, and Jeff. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And joining us here momentarily is going to be Bobby Sparkman. But Bobby, because we're unable to talk to him off of the air, we need to get Bobby to, what do we need to do there, Mr. Mars?
Like they're trying to use the video off of one phone and the audio off of another.
So we can't do that. So you guys have to use one.
Some reason.
Yeah, one phone.
He says, okay, they're going to fix that.
All right, so fix that, and then when you fix that, then we'll come to you. And I want you to know that yours truly is still planning on going on the Hot Rod Tour of Texas.
Fantastic.
That's your warning, Bobby.
And that is your warning, and that's going to be in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Today's the 9th, and this is going to be the 29th, I believe it is, if my calendar has it correctly, something like that. And it's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's not necessarily sold out, but there are going to be a lot of cars, and there are venues that are sold out. One is the Shiner Brewery Tour, that's sold out, as well as the drive-in movie that 300 cars are going to go to.
Well, that was last estimate. I'm sure he'll update us. 300
Yes, I'm
cars.
sure. Yeah.
Now, you're actually starting on Thursday down in Victoria.
Well, actually, I'm going to drive down there on Thursday afternoon to meet up with everybody, and there's a big welcoming shindig. Well, matter of fact, why don't we just go ahead and just get the latest now that Bobby's got it all ironed out. Bobby Sparkman, how are you doing, bud?
Very good, very good. How you guys doing this morning?
Well, we're doing just fine. So I was trying to explain to everybody, you might have heard part of that I'm driving down on Thursday afternoon to be there, I don't know, 6 o'clock, something like that, because there's a welcoming shindig going on in Victoria on Thursday, correct?
Absolutely. Our Explorer Victoria and CVB has partnered up with us to host a little meet and greet kickoff party at Aerocrafters from 7 to 10. We'll have live music by the Crowbars Band, a local band here, play some great music. Little variety country.
Do they play any hip hop?
No, they don't play hip hop.
Well, I just thought I'd throw that out there because I know what a big hip hop fan you are.
They're Southern rock and Texas country.
That's good for me. Yeah. And
it's a great venue. It's indoor, outdoor, food. It's gonna be a great time.
You know, here's what I envision in some of these things that you've got planned is parking may be just a little bit tight out there.
Well, we partnered up with Atzenhofer Chevrolet, a large Chevrolet dealership that is right next to Aerocrafters. They've opened up their parking lot for us to park.
So, in other words, you've been working on this since the last time we talked.
Absolutely. And another little treat for folks that are going to come in Thursday night. The CBB and Explorer Victoria are putting together some ice chests loaded with some goodies, as some giveaway door prizes for a few select folks.
Very nice. You know, one of the things I did want to mention to everybody is that I have been reading anyway, and you'll have to confirm this, that there are people that aren't going to do the whole tour, but they're going to do legs of the tour. And I think that's an attractive part of all of this. You don't have to go on the whole tour. If you can only do Friday, great. Saturday, great. Sunday, great. Am I right?
Absolutely. Especially with the price of fuel right now. Some of these guys got some vehicles that are 2.5 to 3 miles to the gallon, so they're not wanting to go 500 miles.
Yeah, and is that the length of the tour, about 500?
500 from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, nice. And so we start off in Victoria, the welcoming party on Thursday night, and then on Friday, what time do we head out on Friday morning?
Friday morning, we're going to depart Velocity Power Sports at 9 a.m. sharp with the police escort through town.
Woo! I like police escorts as long as the red lights aren't behind me. I'm good.
I was gonna say, Mr. Jeremy Taylor here. He's one of our partners, and Morgan Cook. Jeremy's really he's helped us, and one of our local law enforcement officers has really helped us on this full route. Pretty much anywhere we had any congested areas, we were going to have police escort through town.
And, it sounds like such a great car show. If you're only going to make one leg, or even if you can't do that, if you could just catch the parade.
Yes, the parade of cars. And I was just going to say that, along the route, I mean, there are some small towns that we go through, quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. I would like to think that their Chamber of Commerce or whatever is actually out there going, hey, we got a great big parade of really fine cars coming through here. Y'all got to come out and see it.
Basically a free car show. Put your lawn chair up in your front yard or along the route, and you can watch them. I'll let Jeremy tell you how he's gotten the word out to the mayors and the Chamber of Commerce and law enforcement at each stop.
So this is kind of like the Texas version of the Woodward Dream Cruise.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, so like every town we're going through, I've sent letters to the mayors, the police department, Chamber of Commerce. I think there's a couple other divisions or departments. And so everyone has received a letter letting them know that we're coming through, and I gave them approximate time so they know when we're coming through. And I provided the route that we're taking through every town. And that way they're well informed. Some of them are putting them on their
CVB board, so their community knows
boards and all that. So they're helping spread the word also.
Well, let's not forget, I mean, the In-Wheel Time Car Show, we're worldwide, and I'm sure that all of those people up and down that route are now getting informed, oh, my goodness, let's look and see if the car, the Hot Rod Tour of Texas is coming through our town. So where can those folks go
we got
to see?
We got a diesel truck behind us right now at the car show we're at.
So where can people go to see the actual route map of where we're going? Can you hear me?
He's passed by.
Okay. So where can people go to see the actual route map?
We're actually in Shiner at the Volunteer Fire Department's car show here. Got quite a few cars here.
Okay. So he still can't hear me. Where can people go to find out the route and approximate time that the Hot Rod Tour of Texas will be going through that area?
Okay, so right before the tour, I have an app that I put all the routes through, the map for each day. That'll be shared right before the tour. And also I have a spreadsheet with approximate time through every town that I'll be sharing right before the tour also.
Well, are you going to send that to me, or is this going to be a secret?
We'll send it out to you.
He's sending it to everybody except you.
Except me.
So it's a secret.
Yeah. So, and the goal is going to be, let's lose Don Armstrong. that would not be difficult to do at all. Well, I have to tell you,
we've got a windshield sticker for him for the drive-in with his name already on it.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you that. So yesterday, I don't really own a pair of sunglasses because every time I buy a pair of sunglasses, I lose them, step on them, break them, whatever. I actually made a trip to Academy, and I actually spent $20 on a pair of damn sunglasses just for the tour. I just want you to know that I am giving up a lot to do this. I want you to know.
$15 of that was the rhinestones.
Do what?
I said, hopefully they're polarized.
They are polarized. I'm going to look good. And I've tried to get caught up on all of the parameters that the drag strip has in place that we're going to stop at. What day is that going to happen?
Little River will be on the 30th, that Saturday evening.
And they're also doing, it's gasser night too, so there's going to be a ton of gassers running that night.
Wow.
Really good cars.
How fun. Well, I went and bought a helmet just in case, but I think after reading all of the rules and regulations that I really don't need one because I don't have a car that's that fast. But at any rate, I've got one. I'm going to bring it. And if nothing else, I'm going to look cool.
Very good.
Got my sunglasses on at night and my racing helmet, my open-face racing helmet.
Wearing his rhinestone sunglasses.
He's wearing that tonight to dinner.
Hell, I'm putting rhinestones on it the next couple of weeks to making sure that it's all good. Okay, so when we take out on Friday morning, where do we head to?
Friday morning, we're going to depart Victoria. We're going to run out towards Ellisville. We're going to turn up, go to Terryville, and then we're going to run into, hang on a minute, guys. Make the noise again.
We have to wait for the roar of the engines, apparently.
We're going to run up through Terryville, up through Yoakum, and into Shiner.
So we're going to Shiner on Friday.
Correct. Shiner Brewery tour and beer tasting.
Yeah, that's perfect for a Friday. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
and
we've got pretty much all of their slots taken up from the time they open to the time we depart.
Yes, I know. I had a hard time getting in, and I was like on day one that they opened up the tour slots.
Right.
And I was lucky that I think I got 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, something like that. But at least it's in the morning.
Well, but I think
how quick everything filled up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea instead of just saying, okay, we got 200 people going to show up here at a certain time. No.
So let me ask you, interrupt this going through the process. How many people do you estimate, how many cars and people do you estimate are taking the Hot Rod Tour of Texas?
Right now, based on the drive-in and based on some of the other stops, we're looking at probably 400 plus cars.
Are you excited about this?
Have I mentioned I'm jealous because I can't go?
Well,
and really, I think if we really pushed a little harder, we could have blown it up to 600 cars.
Well,
honestly.
And I have to tell you that I would imagine that with the people joining the tour after we leave Victoria, that in the end, I have a feeling that you're probably going to have closer to that.
And we've got a big group in the Dallas area that are kind of doing a reverse route. They're gonna leave Dallas and meet everybody on Sunday at the Hillsboro Roadside America Museum and House of Hot Rods tour shop stop.
How much fun is that?
That's pretty
I
fun.
hope that I can stick around for that because, I've got to make that drive all the way from Hillsboro back down to Texas, back to Houston area. So it's going to take me a while to get back down here. If I can do it, I'll do it.
Well, several of us are treating the wives. We're going to go to the silos in Waco and let the wives do a little shopping on Sunday evening and Monday, stay the night, Sunday night, and drive back Monday.
Well, it must be nice.
What you ought to do.
It must be nice not to have a job on Monday, but I have a job on Monday that I'm going to have to go to. I didn't realize that it was actually going to be a 4-day tour and not 3 if you throw in Monday.
Well, but you don't have a wife to bring with you either.
I don't, which may be
we're
a good
actually
thing.
starting on Thursday and ending on Monday.
Yeah. Well, okay, so once we get out of Shiner, if we're able to stumble out of Shiner, then where do we go? Then where do we go from there?
From Shiner, we'll be going through Gonzales, then Seguin, and then we'll end up in New Braunfels.
Okay, so we spend the night on Friday night in New Braunfels?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, so there'll be a party there. So then what do we do on Saturday?
All right, Saturday we'll meet up. I believe it's the Texas Creekside Cinema,
The EVO Theater.
and we'll meet up there in the morning. It's close to the Buc-ee's.
We
And
depart there around 8:30 a.m.
Yep.
Right at 8:30 a.m. we'll depart Saturday morning.
Okay.
then from there we'll go through Wimberley, which I found out they're having a show that day too.
Yeah, it's going to be Wimberley's going to be a pretty interesting drive through.
And then we'll end up in Dripping Springs at a special stop there. And both the Shiner Brewery and the stop in Dripping Springs, they'll have food trucks there. It'll be a combination stop and lunch. And the stop in Dripping Springs is Feeding Springs Muscle Cars. And
First time they've been open to the public. We're their grand opening first hoorah.
Cool.
Very, very beautiful place in the hill country. They have done a fantastic job. Some great spots. They got a 40-foot old antique Firestone sign they set up on a bunch of Austin stones, so you can pull your car right up there by the sign and take photos. It's a great place.
Cool. Hey, are you guys gonna have like somebody like a staff photographer or somebody designated to take pictures along the way?
We have two folks partnership, Full Throttle Magazine and
60-foot photography. They did a bunch of the photography out at Alamo Dragway, which has since closed. So Full Throttle Magazine's not going to be able to make the tour with us. They've got a commitment, family member commitment that weekend. So they support a lot of stuff we do. We support those guys as well, Tim Lucher and his family. So what they're going to do is we're going to have the husband-wife photographer team. They're going to do the full tour with us from Victoria all the way through to House of Hot Rods in Mansfield. And they're going to provide those photos to Full Throttle Magazine. And Tim and them are going to compile all that, edit it, and all that kind of good stuff. And they're going to publish a full color publication magazine, a Full Throttle magazine, specifically on the Hot Rod Tour of Texas that will be available.
That's great. So I'll be able to get my own souvenir out of that magazine there. That's
Absolutely.
great. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so now we've made it to Wimberley, and okay. And so where do we stay?
Okay, well, from Dripping Springs, we still got a few more miles to go. We'll head up through Johnson City and
Marble
Falls, and then we'll end up turning at Lampasas to head toward Temple, where we'll go through Coppers Cove, Killeen.
Nice
Belton.
drive, really nice drive.
You know, I know somebody in Temple, and I'm thinking we could make kind of ruin the grass around his house and make just a loop right around there.
Oh no!
Won't that be fun, George Skelton?
No.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll be staying tonight in Temple, and
hopefully
Stay
not
at
in the jail.
George's.
Yeah.
No.
hopefully.
So let me understand something. These are all back roads and country roads that you're taking, because I'm thinking if you're going to
primarily back roads, yes.
Okay, New Braunfels going up 35 is going to be terrible.
Right. There's a few spots where we will have to take interstate, just there's no other option.
We're staying off at 35 as much.
Right.
Actually, entirely, I believe we're off at 30.
We'll be
we cross it, but I think we're completely off of it.
I think we're on 35 for about 15 miles.
Not much at all.
Good. Okay,
and
so
we've driven the roads. All the roads are really good roads. Even though they're Texas country roads, we've driven them ourselves, and they're all good roads.
So Saturday night, where are we staying?
In Temple.
In Temple, okay. And then those that can still stand on Sunday morning, we leave out a Sunday morning, and where do we head to?
All right, from there we'll take. There's some country roads that run parallel to the west of 35, going through a lot of small towns. Let's see, there's Morgan, Valley Mills. Then we'll end up at Rio Vista. Then we'll come back down toward Hillsboro, and that's where we'll go to a Roadside American Museum. And then
very cool museum. I don't know if you guys have looked it up, but the Roadside American Museum is the 50s memorabilia capital. It's amazing.
I
Really,
I
it's the
believe we've
largest
had
great
them
bag
on the air.
collection I've
Yeah.
ever heard
We
of.
have.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a fantastic little museum.
Yep.
And that'll be lunchtime also. And there's several restaurants that will be open in the area, all walking distance, in a couple blocks. So you get a meal, and then from there, that's when we'll drive to Mansfield to our final stop, and that'll be a House of Hot Rods.
How much fun! Are you excited?
Absolutely.
We are. It's coming to reality.
And it's coming fast too.
Coming fast.
Very fast.
We'll share with you guys a couple of little things that's gonna be happening along the way real quick.
So nobody knows about this yet, so this is new news.
We'll
for
keep it a
everybody.
secret.
So yeah, you won't tell anybody, right? So for those that start off every morning
And sign in.
we'll have a sign in every morning stop, every kickoff stop, and at the final stop in Mansfield. So from that, we're going to have a drawing. We're going to have several of these ice chests. We'll have our logo on one side,
Ice chest.
and then hopefully y'all can see it.
Yep. Nice.
The cool artwork that Asphalt Canvas Cake Cook did for us. That's also going to be on the event T-shirts.
Very good.
We'll have a drawing.
I think we got 4 of those we're drawing for the full meal deal, guys, that make the full trip. Don, stay in there for it, Don.
Okay, I will. I'm going to hang in.
We also have partnered with Rust-Oleum, and they've provided, I believe, 4 garage epoxy kits that are going to be drawn for throughout the event.
Those are the things to paint your calipers.
Paint your floor, your garage floor.
Oh, yeah.
Rust-Oleum stepped up and said, "Hey, we want to be a part of this. What can we do? What can we offer you guys?"
Gotcha.
And we said, whatever you guys want. And they come up with the garage floors and shop kits and said, "How about these?"
Those are expensive, my friend. Let me tell you.
Very, very, very nice.
Yep.
I was very, very, very kind to those folks.
Well, it sounds like so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and it is Hot Rod Tour of Texas, and I know you got a Facebook page, and I guess that's the easiest way to get all the info.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We do have some merch.
Yeah, we've got
Caps are sold out. We still have some shirts available.
We got event shirts. We just started offering some event women's shirts and event caps for women that have ponytail holders, openings in the back. The women are loving them. We didn't think they were going to sell very good, but they're go flying off the table.
Very nice.
We're also going to do different tumblers that'll have all the stops on them. We're going to do some windshield banners. We're finishing those up. There'll be just a few of those, like they go across the eyebrow of the windshield of your car. It'll have Hot Rod Tour Texas, and it'll have each stop underneath it. Little stick-ons that you can put on your windshield. Those will be available as well.
Instead of dash plaques, you got these little wings. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, Jeremy, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We truly appreciate it. It looks like a great time, and I will be the judge of that if I can make it home without too much Excedrin.
Yep.
All right.
I'm sure there will be some ice chests with cold, refreshing beverages in it.
I'm sure there will be. Well, thank you.
If you follow this out, or you find Jeremy, there may be Shiner and probably Miller Lite available.
Very nice. All right. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome.
All right, man. Take care. Bobby Sparkman and Jeremy Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the racing calendar.
Yep, got it right here. Okay.
Did you read it ahead of time?
I did. In fact, I've been reading it all morning.
Okay.
So here we go. NHRA. You've got this weekend. Well, you've got next in 2 weeks.
Oh, you said you read this.
I know, but the dates. I didn't get the dates. So the 22nd through the 24th, Spring Nationals in Houston. April 29th through May 1st, 4 wide at Charlotte for the NHRA. Not a big fan of that. NASCAR today is today and through the weekend. Tomorrow also, you got Martinsville Speedway. Formula One is on the 10th Australian Grand Prix. Now, I've got a little, what do parents feed an infant that want them to grow up to be a race car driver? They feed them Formula One. Okay, enough about that.
That was a long walk
yeah,
for that one.
I said it all week. IMSA racing through the streets of Long Beach. May 16th is Mid-Ohio. And then, of course, 410, you got Indy at Long Beach.
My ears just unheard that.
Did they? Okay. Actually, Kathy gave this to me, so she said use it on the show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy, but coming out of Jeff just doesn't work. All right, time now for this hour's car review. Jeff is doing our pre-owned car of the week. It's the under 10 series,
Yes.
meaning it's the under $10,000 class.
Yep.
And today we have the Mazda 3.
Yep. And it is a 2008. It's a Mazda 3, and they put a little initial on there called an I. So it is. It's a touring vehicle, 2-door, 4-door, and a hatchback. That's what these rascals come in. Now, the 4-door touring is a compact vehicle, and you can put 4 people in it easily. 5 would be uncomfortable, but a small child would be good. Exterior features on this rascal: you've got the power adjustable outside mirrors, which is on a base model with the touring. It's pretty good. You got alloy wheels. You've got the rear wiper. It's a good compact car. My daughter owned one of these when she went to college, so it was a very, very good car. Your interior, you've got basic 4 speakers, AM, FM, auxiliary audio ports. You can listen to your in-wheel time on your podcasts. Heated mirrors, steering wheel controls, which pretty much that's what you're going to get nowadays anyways. Good center pod on the dashboard. Telescopic steering wheel. You got power seats on this touring, which is a good feature. Engine-wise, you've got a 4-cylinder inline, 4-valve per cylinder, 148 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. Torque is 135 foot-pounds at 4,500 RPM, and you can get a 4-speed shiftable on the paddles, or you can get it on the console as well.
Automatic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rating is 23 city, 31 highway, 26 combined on this, and it's easy to do that. It's a small 4-cylinder car.
I wonder if that's the same motor that they put in the Mazda Miata.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that. So far as the ride, it's a small, compact vehicle inside, somewhat stiff ride, ventilated front discs, but solid rear discs. So you got more of a performance on that as well. Electronic steering, and you've got the speed proportional radio. When the faster you go, it decreases. So you're looking between 7,000 and
What the hell does that mean?
what the speed for the radio?
Yeah,
I have that on mine.
The radio.
For the radio.
Radio.
But the
I thought he
faster
was
you
saying radio. No, the faster.
Volume compensation.
Yeah, volume
Volume
compensation.
which I think is a good thing. You're between $7,000 and $9,700 on these vehicles, depending on mileage.
How much?
Between $7,000 and $9,700.
Dang.
So it's up
Sign
there.
me up.
It's pretty close, and there's others. You have other options and different trim levels on this, but you're going to be you could find one of these in a little above 10 if you wanted.
Well,
to.
I'll tell you this: that if you can find one that has under 100,000 miles, good luck,
Yeah.
because that's one of those kind of cars that was affordable. They were out there. A lot of them were out there, and if you could find one under 100,000 miles, boy, that rings my bell.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. Hey, I'd like to remind you that the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on iHeart Radio, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts are available on your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Tony Stewart Racing joins the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his drivers, Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagen, will face off against NHRA stars including the legendary John Force Racing Team. Don't miss this battle of horsepower and performance. It's the final NHRA Spring Nationals event at Houston Raceway Park. Don't miss it, April 22nd through 24th. This is your last chance for nitro action in Baytown. Tickets at HoustonRaceway.com.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
And guess what?
What?
This is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show right here on iHeartRadio. Coming up, the Car Clinic. We'll have this week's automotive news. Jeff's going to do a thing on tires. Don't ask what that thing is. It's not glued this time. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We need more Jeff Zekin, always. I'm Don Armstrong. Conrad's out still. Partying down on 6th Street in Austin.
Wonderful.
They had some horrible car accident down there last
Did
night.
they?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, injured 11 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, down on Barton Springs.
Did
On
not hear
Barton
that.
Springs Road.
Yeah. Apparently there was a T-bone accident, and one of the cars slid into a great big food truck. It looked like ice cream cones or something.
Oh.
All these people were standing there waiting for ice cream.
Ouch. Wow.
And, yeah, it was bad. Anyway, speedy recovery to all those folks down there. Love going to Austin, and it's always good times. Anyway, so I thought what we would do, we try to do this a couple of times a year. You know, Jeff used to work for, well, several tire manufacturers.
I was a rep for a tire wholesaler, which we did have manufacturers.
Right.
Absolutely.
Pirelli was your...
Pirelli. I actually worked as a manufacturer rep directly for Pirelli.
Right.
And then when I went in with ATD, American Tire Distributors, we repped Pirelli and Bridgestone and Continental and Michelin and all that. So that was our bread and butter, our
Your
bailiwick,
thing,
our
yeah.
thing. But we had different divisions. I worked specifically for the car dealer channel. We had other departments that worked with wheels. Some worked with agricultural, farm implement and big tractor tires and things
Right.
like that. So, and then there were the mom and pop versions of it, the little tire stores, commercial end of it, like the discounts and NTBs and things. Those are all different separate divisions, or what they call silos. So in my profession, what I did was the car dealers. So we would go in and do the OE fitments for the vehicles that folks come in for their service and things, and they would need tires, and we would instruct either the service advisors or the customers themselves on what tire care and tire handling and what's best for them.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I got, all of my
schooling
on going back to the OE fits, going back to the OE fitment. If you buy a used car or pre-owned and so on, you would go back to the original tire size. Kind of weighed away from that because now with all the manufacturers and all the aftermarket supplies of tires that you can get, there is no recourse in going either way. So if you were to draw a line and a pencil, in that pencil line would be all of the manufacturer's quality and control. So they've all upgraded it. It's the Department of Transportation who regulates it. So, and also the RMA, the Rubber Manufacturers of America, they regulate themselves as well. So it's a good industry. You don't hear a lot about it anymore.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, you don't. Recalls, well, you would hear that. But so far as anything new in the industry, they're always upgrading. There's a lot of R&D. Pirelli would their mantra was that anything we do on the racetrack we put into the street cars. which they all do now anyways. You got your Goodyears in NASCAR, you got your Pirelli in the open wheel circuits and things, the IMSAs and the Formula Ones. So all of that technology from racing does go into the street vehicles.
Is Michelin, is that a French company?
French company. Michelin is in my opinion, and I used to say, Michelin is the go-to tire to fix any.
It's funny you should say that because
anything.
we have not had a discussion prior to the show today. And when I see clean tires, I'll look and say, oh, that's a pretty good looking tire on the sidewall. What kind of tire is that? And I'm going, oh, well, that's another Michelin. You see so many Michelin replacement tires if they don't come from the manufacturer themselves. It is, and I've bought a lot of Michelin tires, and I've never had an issue with a Michelin tire. Now, I have bought a set of Michelin tires that they sold me that had a tread pattern that was noisy. And I wound up taking them back.
Yeah.
It was just too much.
There are still things that the tire manufacturers do offer, the Michelins and the Firestones and the Bridgestones of the world, a 30-day free ride. So if you are unhappy with it, be it noise or maybe you just don't like the way it feels, within that 30 days, you can take it back for a comparable priced tire to be replaced on it. In most cases, they do that. Within that brand, you're not going to go from a Firestone to a Michelin. They're not going to do that.
Right.
Or they'll reimburse you, and then you can go out about your business.
Did not know that.
But, and there's also a price match. You don't hear about that anymore, too. So you can price match a tire through the Internet.
So let's say I go to the Firestone store down here, and I say, oh, I really like that set of tires, and they match kind of the parameters that I'm looking for, and they're a set of 4 for $900. And then I'm going, man, that's a little steep. So I go over here to the other store, Discount, let's say. Go over to Discount, and they've got them for a lot less. Chances are that Firestone store is going to match the price that.
If it's apples to apples.
Yeah.
And if they're, it used to be, and there's a lot of things you said there, it used to be on the Internet, they would not match anything on the Internet. If you're a brick and mortar store, be it a dealership or a mom and pop or a chain, they would not match that Internet because the Internet has no inventory. The Internet doesn't carry any liability of that tire. They're just selling it to you and shipping it to you, and then they're done. They wash their hands of it. So they got away from that. Then there was things brought up, well, I'm going to buy on the Internet and I'll never see you again. Well, they made some adjustments to it where they could go ahead and price match a tire from the Internet. That's still around. I don't know how much of that is being used now because, folks, once you get a captive audience and you get that halo effect, a halo effect is when you're pulling those wheels off that car, you're looking at the brakes, the wearable parts, the bushings, the tie rod ends and things. That's where your upsells come from because you don't make a lot of money on tires. Tires are probably the most
like you're going to the grocery store.
Right? Yeah. And the 4 things that a tire does for you, it supports the weight of the vehicle, for one. It absorbs shock, road
imperfections.
Exactly. Run, stop, and run. You got to be able to run, stop, and keep going. And then, of course, the last one is turning. The tires do all of that for you, and it's one of the most important things of your vehicle because it's riding on that. It's generally a patch about the size of a 3x5 card is on the road. That's your contact patch. That's what they call it. Not the seat of the pants like you would do on your.
You would think that it's bigger than that, but it really is.
It's about a 3x5 car. It's about that big.
My car with those great big huge tires on
a
the
little
Corvette,
larger,
but it's only in width.
Yeah.
Right. It's not in depth.
Yeah.
So it's just a wider little patch.
Exactly. So it is an important feature on your vehicle. It is a wearable part. Back in the day, you would get 12 months, 12,000 miles. That would be a warranty on a tire. Now you're into the 30s, 32, 35. There are some manufacturers that make them that are in the 60 to 90,000.
But they have
range.
wear indicators.
They do have wear indicators.
Are they accurate?
Yes, very accurate. Because in the state of Texas, you have to get state inspections, and that wear bar that's in between your tread blocks through the sipes, that's 330 seconds. So if you got a tire and you're going in to get it inspected, if they see that, then chances are they're going to say that you need tires. Or you can get a tire gauge and do it in 3 different spots on the tire to see the tread depth of that tire. You don't have to do that. But the wear bar is 330 seconds. If it gets close to that, you're done.
But there's also a wear indicator, isn't there, on the side of the tire?
There are
a rating.
Well,
a rating.
There's several ratings. In fact, I've got all that right here. All of that.
Well, tell us about
information.
the rating. So, in other words, I want, because the higher the tread wear rating is, generally speaking, it's going to cost me more for that, because that means that the tire is going to last longer.
Right.
And I'm going to pay for that.
Well, it's not only the wear of it, but it's also heat, because rubber does deteriorate with heat. And if you have friction on your tire as it goes down the road, it obviously builds up heat. Your tire will expand. If it's underinflated, it'll inflate a little bit. Or if it's overinflated, you could have it pop or disintegrate. So there's other things involved than just that. There's a load index, and there's also a speed index, along with the heat and the rating of the tire. So load index, and there's different in U.S. and in Europe. Europe, they're a little bit more stringent on it, and in U.S. they're not. But to that point, there are different ratings, and you can get a speed rating, you can get an H, S through Y for miles per hour on the tire. Yours, I believe, are a Z on your vehicle, and over 149 miles an hour, and an optimum driving ability is what your tire's rated for.
But when you get those kind of rated tires, okay, you can do 149 miles an hour theoretically, according to that. But isn't that tire a little bit softer, so that it, as part of the performance of it, to make it stick at that rate?
It can be. There's Don's tires on his Corvette are a little bit softer, a little bit stickier.
Sticky is what I was looking for.
You're going to get into a passenger tire like on say an Impala or something, or one of the vehicles you drive. It's going to be a P-rated tire for passenger, and it could be a little bit harder tire, but it's the way it's built, Mike, because you've got different rayons and nylons and things that are on that tread before they put the rubber on for the tread blocks and the sipes. You've got the sidewall construction, which makes a tire firmer or stiffer, and then you've got the tires like Don has, which are run flats. You've got that, which is also a stiffer sidewall, because you're running on a flat tire, and what's holding that tire off the ground are those sidewalls. So the stiffer the sidewall, and it's going to be a stiffer ride, even if it's not flat.
Right.
If you got the proper air in it, because it's got the stiffer
stronger
sidewalls. Right.
Sidewalls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's talk about, I know that you've always said, look, if you want the same performance that you have on your car when it comes out of the factory, get the comparable tire for that came out of the factory. Same
Correct.
size. Now, I know that, for instance, if you go to Discount Tire, the website, they have options to upgrade the size of the tire. I think they got 3 upgrades for most of the tires.
Right. It's a plus sizing. Is what they call it.
And why would you do that?
You could do it for aesthetics, the way it looks. You could do it probably, in most cases, people will do it for, they think they're getting better mileage, or maybe they've changed the rim size or something of that nature. But generally, if you go +3 on a tire, you're maxed out. So if you go from a 17, 18, 19 to a 20, 20 is probably going to be the capability of that vehicle, and it has to go back to the load index speed ratings.
Right. But so let's just stick with the actual tire wheel combination that came with the car. Okay, I got 35,000 miles on it. I'm going to go on a road trip, take the family, going to drive a couple thousand miles. I need new tires. And so that particular tire that came on the car is no longer available. So what do I do then? How do I shop that?
Manufacturers, and we'll use Bridgestone as an example. Bridgestone has many tire lines within that family of Bridgestone. So it may be a particular product that they make that no longer carry, but you're still going to be within that Bridgestone family.
In a passenger car
tire.
Right.
Or you could switch to a Continental. Nowadays, it's budget. And how long are you going to use the car? We're driving cars longer.
Right.
We're getting into 200,000 miles of a vehicle that we talked about, Consumer Reports. Those are the things that have to be kept in mind when you do buy new tires. Am I going to keep it? Is it going to be a grocery getter? Am I going to work 20 miles each way, whatever the case? That's going to be a factor on where you buy tires. Now, if you like a particular brand, if it's a Goodyear, stick with a Goodyear. There's nothing wrong with that. Or if you don't, now I know Kathy, she's very fickle. Car comes with Continental. She didn't like to ride a Continental. We got her tires, and they kind of worn out a little bit faster than what she anticipated. She's in a Michelin now, and that's the go-to. It was a little bit hard convincing her. on that because she was mindset on what she wanted to have. The ride that you have, the feel in your butt when you're steering.
Right.
That's the seat of the pants.
The way you feel the road.
Right. And if the road is, tap, 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 you can feel every pebble, that may not be a good tire for you.
And, I also want you to address, if you will, the actual makeup of the tire, because there are, for instance, on the SUVs or crossovers, they're so popular these days. There are many people that, I've got to have that mud and snow rating on there, and they never take the thing off road. And then that kind of overkill, if you get that.
Well, it can be, and it depends on what the vehicle came with, because you do have a P-rated for passenger, and you got an LT for light truck. You've got E-rated for a commercial, and I'm sure the vans that Conrad drives, the big BG vans, heavy
cargo vans,
are E-rated. So there's different tires for different makeups of the vehicle.
Well, for instance, let's say I've got a Suburban, but it's a two-wheel drive here in Houston, Texas. The only thing that I really deal with here in Houston, Texas is rain and heat. And I don't take the thing off-road. There's no reason for me to have mud and snow MS capability on it. I just want a passenger car tire for the truck. Do they make it?
Yes, they'll make a passenger for the Suburban, the Tahoes, the larger SUVs, the Lincolns and things. But you can also cross over into an LT, which is a light truck. That's where you're going to be getting the larger tread blocks and the sipes. You can put your fingers in them, and that's also what makes noise. So if you look at a tire, on the side of the tire, you will see how the tread block comes over the side. And if you look at it, they're not all equally distanced. They're not all the same size. Some are larger, some are smaller, and they're spaced differently. That is for harmonic balancing. That is for noise. So that is one thing that they build into the tire, a construction of the tire like you see here, Mike, going down the side. That's what it is. You get a Jeep tire. You get the big Wranglers and the big Mudders and things like that. You'll see those tread blocks expand down the side of the sidewall. The reason for that, when you go rock climbing and you let air out of the tire, or even sand running, that sidewall is a grip because your sidewall is less, it collapses it, and that's gripping into the road feature as well.
Well, that's good to know, because I just thought that the rim was a little narrow and it's causing it to be a little more bulbous.
No, there's a purpose behind that. It bulbous.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah, for tread. And also, when we leave here today, and you can look at, it's just Don's or yours, the spacing for the harmonics of that.
Yeah, because I know every once in a while there'll be one of those big trucks lifted up and everything come blowing by.
Well, you hear them. Yeah, you hear them, and that's the spacing between the tread blocks.
So, okay, so I want to buy a new set of tires for my, let's just say, Hyundai SUV crossover. And they don't make the tire that it originally came with, but they've offered 3 different other brands in the same size.
Sure.
Which brand do I choose? Do I choose an upgraded size? I want to stay with the same size. It's a whole lot easier that way. But I see all of these different price ranges for all of these tires that now are fit for my car.
Well, what they're pricing on is the longevity of the tire. Is it going to last 30,000 miles? Is it a 60,000-mile tire? What is it? And you're going to pay more for the longevity of the tire. So those are things to consider. Is your pocketbook going to be able to afford it? Because you talked earlier for $900, and some are more and some are less. You paid a lot of money for the tires you have in your Corvette. They're great tires. They're going to last you. So you did the right thing.
But
you
I didn't have a lot of choice.
No, you didn't. I think you had 2 or maybe 3 at best.
Right.
And then there's the good, better, best scenario. The good scenario is going to be the cheapest and the shortest life. And then the better is going to be a little bit more longevity. I'm going to keep the car another couple of years. Let me get the better of this. And then the best is I'll never get rid of it. I'm going to turn it into a hot rod later on. I'm going to keep the tires and so on. So it's budget. It's what's available. Do you like that brand? Oh, I absolutely hate brand X. I'm going to go to brand Y because I hear a lot of bad things about it. I hear that in the industry a lot. You got people that are loyal to a brand or a particular restaurant or a particular tire.
Yeah, people like what they like.
Yeah. Absolutely. You shop Amazon, but there's a bunch of choices on Amazon. So this is pretty much the same principle, whatever you like.
I will say this, and this is just me, and I have nothing against Tire Rack, but I cannot imagine going to Tire Rack, buying tires through Tire Rack, having their tires shipped to their installer and going through that whole rigmarole when all I have to do is go down to a place like Discount Tire. I've got all of these choices. They've got them in stock.
Yep.
And if they don't have them in stock, they'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You schedule an appointment, you go in, boom, there you go.
That's what you did.
That's what I did.
Yeah, they only had two.
We had to order two.
Yeah, and they came in and you had them done.
Yeah.
It was like a day later.
And it took, what, an hour?
If that. Yeah, about an hour.
About an hour.
But
for
see,
4 tires balanced and ready to go.
We were taking pictures. We were, selfies with the old tires and all that.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Big hurrah.
Yeah. But, you make the point that the people that are out there that need it, they're going to find a way. They're going to do their research. They're going to do their due diligence. And this tire rack episode that you talked about, I was involved in some of that when it first came out, where Mike being a tire rack rep, you would get the tires, but you would ship them to Don's Garage, and Don's Garage would quote you a price for the labor because they're only quoting you a price for the product. So you might be getting a good deal on a tire, but the garage place might not be giving you the best deal as well.
Right, because they're not making any money off the tires.
And are you going to get a warranty? How do you get that warranty? Well, Don's Garage got to take them off. And you got to ship them back yourself. So that kind of fell through a little bit.
Yeah. So there's that. And that is not a cut against
no.
Tire Rack whatsoever.
It's a different business model. It's
Well,
like buying a car off.
Listen, if I live in Neaterville and I don't have a tire store there, then
goes the
maybe the Tire Rack is the way for me to go. Have them shipped on to Don's
Garage,
garage.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, time now for Conrad's Car Clinic, and I think that Mr. Mars has put together something that I think would be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I want to talk about the VIN, the vehicle identification number. We get Jeff to pull that up. One of the things
17 number digit,
17 characters, but I found it interesting. They don't use the Q, they don't use the I, just the zoom.
Oh,
and they don't use the O because whenever you start looking at the string of numbers, particularly when they're printed up small, it's
you
not
can't
there.
see them.
Yeah, you can't distinguish them. So then I got to think, okay, so where are you going to find it? You always look underneath the windshield, but actually there's 4 common places where you find it, generally under the hood, at the front of the engine block or someplace, the driver's side interior of the dash, the front end of the frame, and the driver's side door. That's where most people see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same number that's on your insurance card, obviously. But now you got 17 numbers there, so what do they really mean?
Yes.
So you can go online and you can find decoders. And the thing we learned that is the very first digit is the country of origin. So every country around the world is represented there. The second is the vehicle manufacturer, whether it's Chevrolet, Ford, Audi, whatever. Then it gets into the vehicle type and division, and then you get the vehicle brand is like across the next 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. And you get into the security check digit, which is just to make sure that everything in the number and everything sequencing is right. You get the model year, and where it was built is represented by 1 character. And then you actually get the vehicle's production number that's made off that line.
How many numbers are those?
1, 2, 3, 4,
8.
5, 6.
6 numbers?
Yes, is the last 6 numbers of it. And that's followed by, And so when you come on down, though, and when you get in here and you start looking at these character codes, so code A, which is the model year, that's for 1980. And then code L is for 1990. And it goes through all this, but it has, because there's so many years, it has to repeat.
Sure.
So you got to kind of look at it and figure out, you got to kind of look at the knowledge that's built into the coding system. Say, okay.
You got a car that's 30 years old. It's not today.
That's correct. So you got to use a little bit of common sense.
Duh.
And, of course, they got things for like cars that are built in Africa, Asia, Europe. They're all coded out. And you can go in and go through your entire VIN number and see what all is supposed to be in your car to a certain level of detail.
Yeah. You can't find, however, what trim level the car is.
Well, technically you can.
You could in the past.
Well, because you got to come up here whenever you get up here and you're looking at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 to 8 digit where you get into the brand that represents the body style, the engine size, and the type, the model series. All that's built into.
But it doesn't tell you what the paint code is.
It's on the plate. It's on the plate.
Right, but it's not on the VIN.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So, but what you're asking about is those 5 digits. You got to take those 5 digits and then decode them within that particular manufacturer's coding system.
the guy at Graveyard Cars. He's always talking about the plate,
Yep.
and they can name the color just by looking at the number and the interior and how many stitches in the seat and all that stuff.
And
But he
someplace
has
in
to
those
have-
5
but
digits.
he has to have the build sheet for
Right.
that
Yes.
because each car is different, and that is not included in the VIN.
What's on the screen right there, and that is the word that Conrad sent me for that guy's name.
Yeah,
That's how you pronounce that.
there's that.
There is.
All right, so you good?
Yeah, it was real interesting. I always knew the VIN was there and it meant some stuff, but never really knew the intelligence that was built into it.
Yeah.
I got a couple
Very
stories I
cool.
want to get in before we finish the show out today. GM and Honda plan to co-develop a line of affordable electric vehicles with a focus on compact crossovers starting in 2027. Automaker says the collaboration will enable global production of millions of EVs, including compact crossovers. The vehicles will be based on a new global electric architecture powered by GM's Ultium battery technology. That's coming up in the future. U.S. government may need more than 100,000 charging stations to support widespread EV use, government watchdog told a congressional hearing on Tuesday. However, less than 0.3% of the government's 57,000 vehicles were electric as of 2020, or 1,777. In 2020, the government spent $4.2 billion on vehicle costs, including $730 million for fuel. That's your money, and my money, and your money. In its effort to move past the recall, which represented a black mark on General Motors' EV ramp-up, the brand said it expects media spending for the Bolt to top all other nameplates except the Silverado pickup. So look for the Bolt on your favorite TV show
There you go.
soon. Really? Ugh. Self-driving trucking firm is expanding operations here in Texas beyond its Dallas hub, adding terminals in El Paso, Fort Worth, and here in Houston. Aurora anticipates the interstates that connect those cities will be high-volume routes for commercial service expected to start in 2023. Something to look forward to. And Cox Automotive said Thursday that its Manheim Used Vehicle Value Index, which tracks vehicles sold at Manheim's U.S. auctions, big wholesaler, fell 3.3% in March compared to February. The decline in February prices, the first the index has recorded since last August, so prices, I think, may be coming down. We will finish up today's show right after this quick break.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Tony Stewart Racing joins the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series, and his drivers, Leah Pruitt and Matt Hagen, will face off against NHRA stars including the legendary John Force Racing Team. Don't miss this battle of horsepower and performance. It's the final NHRA Spring Nationals event at Houston Raceway Park. Don't miss it, April 22nd through 24th. This is your last chance for nitro action in Baytown. Tickets at HoustonRaceway.com.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite car talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk.
Uh-oh. I hit the wrong button. Never mind that. Oh, my gosh. You know, leave it to Don Armstrong to bragging about this, and I'm going, oh, my God. I hit the
You
wrong
spoke too
button.
soon. Leave it to Beaver.
Hey, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk show on iHeartRadio. Hey, when you're on our favorite Facebook page, please give us a like. Tell us your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting features, along with all things automotive, all week long. There'll be some fun stuff in there for you, too, including upcoming events, cruise-ins, and other goodies, including Don's screw-ups. The In Wheel Time Car Show is on 24/7 on iHeartRadio, both online and through the iHeart app. Find us at the In Wheel Time Car Talk place.
Did you read that?
No. We'll be streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central. 30-minute podcasts available from your favorite podcast outlet 7 days a week. In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For booking agent and podcast editor Mike Out of This World Mars and his royalty king Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong.
Miss you, Conrad.
Today's show was produced by the Lake Titicaca Neighborhood Association.
All right.
Be sure and join us again for our next live In Real Time Car Talk show from Studio A next Saturday, April 16th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then.